contract is up at the end of this year. So McEwen for McDermott, a trade of the max, but McDermott a legitimate heavyweight in the NHL. I fully expect him in the lineup tomorrow against Montreal. I wonder whether or not they'll have Jack Guy in the lineup for the Canadians. That could be interesting. Stay tuned following the game for the Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance Goal game. Whatever life brings you, we've got the coverage you need. Visit ab.bluecross.ca. This is Rogers Game Night. Rogers, Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network, back with Rob Brown when we return.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $29.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone this summer. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $29.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
You're listening to Rogers Game Night on the official voice of the Edmonton Oilers, 880 CHAD, and on the Oilers Radio Network.
Well, the last time these two teams met was January 19th. That was the night in which Connor Garland could have been called for about 4 penalties against Connor McDavid in the final 20 seconds. McDavid had had enough. and he cross-checked Garland. Remember, it was McDavid who got cross-checked by Carson Soucy by the Canucks in the playoffs. Soucy out of Irma, Alberta. Great place to go to, may I add. He got a 1-game suspension for that in the playoffs. McDavid got a 3-game suspension. That was the last time these two teams met. Let's bring a order inside the game analyst, Rob Brown. Sometimes you got to make it count. You know what I'm saying, Rob?
You talking about this cross-check? It counted. They played one more time after that. It was the last time they played in Vancouver.
Last time they played in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, because the suspensions to both players lasted 1 game longer than everyone thought, but that also made sure they didn't play against each other the next time.
This building has always done a great job with sound. This is one of the best in-house buildings when it comes to music in the league. They have for years. I ride them all the time about their provincial politics, but I got to tell you, they do a great job of sound in this house, Robin. You can hear what's booming in the background, right?
I can't hear it. I'm a long ways away from you right now.
Man, you never go wrong with the Tragically Hip. It's a beautiful.
No, you don't. You certainly don't.
All right. Final dress rehearsal. What are Chris Knobloch 3-year extension? So 2 thoughts there. Go for it.
Well, the Knobloch extension was expected. It was just a matter of when they were going to announce it. This is a guy that's taken them to the Stanley Cup Finals back-to-back years. He's 3 wins away from having 2 Stanley Cup rings. So that was going to get done. It's just a matter of when. And the Oilers are a better organization because they have him as a head coach. As for the last game of the season, there's a lot of things you want to see. You want to see how some of the lines play together, because the expectation is we may see some of these lines come next week in the home opener. You want to see a little bit of chemistry form amongst the players. You want to continue to see the details. I think the details from the team has been very good in the preseason thus far. I'm excited about the fact that this is actually an NHL hockey game tonight. It's the first time really that we've seen both teams ice NHL lineups.
Yep.
But all of those things said, everything that we're watching tonight, there's only one thing that you want, and that's for both teams to come injury-free through this hockey game.
Yep.
There have been a lot of injuries in the National Hockey League over the last couple of weeks. A lot of players starting the season and will be out for long periods of time. We want both these teams to make it to next week fully healthy so that we can see the best on best starting next Wednesday.
All right, well, that's our Ford Keys to the Game, brought to you by Ford, the official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, built Ford proud. And speaking of exhibition season, it was back in 2009 that the late great Gord Downey flew on the Edmonton Oilers team charter. He did my show the next day, and that trumps the 2 appearances for Mark Carney and the one from Pierre Poilievre in the last 6 months. Let me tell you, there was nothing greater than having arguably the greatest lead singer of a Canadian band join your team on a flight and be on the show. I don't know about the star power tonight. The music's going to be booming. These 2 teams are closing out preseason, and Jack Michaels is ready to go. The Oilers and the Canucks up next, wrapping up preseason live on Ford Dealers NHL Hockey from Rogers Arena.
Whether you're building a home, a community, or championship team, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens one step, one shift, one brick at a time. Coventry Homes, never done building. The official builder of the Edmonton Oilers, proudly celebrating 50 years. Visit coventryhomes.ca.
The same AI-powered technology that helps Oilers fans move through security efficiently at Rogers Place is also available for Edmonton area schools, hospitals, and workplaces. Evolve Technology, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers and official security screening partner of Rogers Place, helps identify potential threats and create safe experiences at hockey games and wherever people gather. Visit Rogers Place to experience Evolve live, or check out evolve.com for more information. That's EVOLV.com.
Bloom Benefits offers amazing coverage that even the toughest hockey players can get behind. With excellent coverage, they offer things like massage. You want to go? Counseling services. Let's go! Dental coverage. That was not offside. And eye exams. With custom health coverage for any group of any size, Bloom Benefits make every team better, stronger, and healthier. Plans start from just $54 a month. Rethink your benefits today at bloombenefits.ca.
Over the last decade, the world of work has changed dramatically. It's a change that can cause a disconnect between a company and its employees. But a partnership with Aon can help by making decisions that create a more flexible, engaged, and resilient workforce. Aon's experience and expertise, global understanding, and advanced analytics ensure that every client is better informed and better advised so that they can make better decisions. Whatever the next decade brings, Aon is in the business of better decisions.
We bring you back to Rogers Arena on an overcast day in Vancouver, where the Canucks will play host to the Edmonton Oilers and put a lid on the 2025-26 preseason schedule. For Chris Knobloch, gifted with a 3-year contract extension today, he'll start Darnell Nurse and Troy Stetcher on the blue line. The opening line will be centered by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who grew up about 20 minutes from here with no traffic. His line mates will be Andrew Mangiapane and Vasily Podkolzin, and with Stuart Skinner still a little bit under the weather, it'll be Calvin Pickard in net. Your starting lineup brought to you by our friends at Coventry Homes, building a strong team, one shift, one block at a time. That's Coventry Homes. For Vancouver, it'll be Thatcher Demko in net. Up front, Drew O'Connor with Kiefer Sherwood and Teddy Bluger. And on the blue line, Marcus Pettersson, one of 3 Petterssons in the lineup tonight for Adam Foote's Canucks, and the veteran defenseman Tyler Myers. The captains, Quinn Hughes and Connor McDavid, doing a ceremonial first puck draw as Rogers Arena aglow. The Canucks 3-2 in the preseason. Edmonton 4-2-1, and coming off a 4-2 loss on Wednesday, Bob. But there's 8 different players in the lineup from that particular encounter. Calvin Pickard, though, a chance to get another start, some more work, coming off a game where he didn't play poorly. He'd certainly like to give away back, and Edmonton struggled on special teams. Again, with the way the lineups are constructed tonight, there's no carryover.
Well, I think for Pickard, he'd like to have one play back in the first period to kind of change the complexion a bit of the game and gave Seattle a little bit of control. I loved how the Oilers played. They worked their tail off. A much better lineup tonight, obviously, and including the big boys should be fun.
Native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Now, tonight's exclusive NHL broadcast.
Shoots and scores! But now it's Draisaitl off to Connor McDavid for the hat trick. He scores!
All the action called by the voices who know the game inside and out.
This crowd explodes!
Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels on the Oilers Radio Network.
Rogers Arena, Vancouver, BC, as the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks wrap up the preseason. The Oilers coming off 4 consecutive 100-point years, and the Vancouver Canucks coming off a disappointing season following a surprise Pacific Division title in 2024, dropping off to a 38-30-14 record and missing the playoffs by 6 points. As I mentioned, they're 3-2 in the preseason, while Edmonton was losing in Seattle on Wednesday. Vancouver pummeled Calgary 8-1 on Wednesday at
at the Saddle Dome. Canucks will open their season on Thursday against the same Flames. Bluger and Nugent Hopkins, and we're underway in the preseason finale with Teddy Bluger winning the opening face-off. It'll be Tyler Myers laying it up the right-hand side. The Canucks in the blue and green, outlined in white, moving right to left in this first period of play. Bluger in the offensive zone with a shot that was deflected off of Troy Stetcher, who cut his teeth in the NHL in this same Vancouver organization, coming out of the University of North Dakota, where he was a college teammate of Brock Besser. They won a national championship together, as a matter of fact. Oilers advanced as far as the Vancouver blue line, and Mangiapane cut off. He'll kick it back to Darnell Nurse. Only 2 players in the NHL preseason have scored more goals than Nurse's 3. McDavid slides to Draisaitl, tried to feather it inside. Bouchard tried a shot, and that was blocked and grabbed by Elias Pettersson. So many questions around him. We'll talk more as we move through tonight's broadcast. DeBrusk and Besser, his line mates. Pettersson wheels it to Besser, dropped off to 25 goals a year ago after having 40 the year before. Draisaitl flicked it back inside the Vancouver blue line, where Demko will leave it for Quinn Hughes. Third of the Norris Trophy voting last year after winning it in 2024. Ty Emberson crowded in the corners. He tried to play it for Edmonton. The Oilers in their white uniforms outlined in orange and blue. McDavid to Draisaitl. And left to right, Draisaitl finds a rink-wide effort for Emberson. He'll dump it down low behind the Vancouver net, where it's Demko leaving it for Roenick, up to Hughes, and now a shot by Philip Hedl, who was very good the other night as Edmonton bested Vancouver in a preseason game at Rogers Place 4-3. Hedl was probably Vancouver's most effective forward that night. Canucks hemmed in a bit in their own zone, and Hedl makes a nice play off the half wall up to center, and it's driven in by Lekkerimäki, who figures to make the team after appearing in 24 games a year ago. Nurse setting the table for the Oilers. He had a power play goal in the Wednesday night loss to Seattle. Here he fires a pass up the gut that was tipped, and it's retrieved by Pettersson, who arrived with O'Connor in a trade with Pittsburgh midseason last year. Sent in deep. Nurse will corral for Edmonton. Nifty play off the wall by Kapanen, and now on the move comes Ike Howard, trying to get around Marcus Pettersson, who reeled him in and forced Howard into a cross-seamer that's played out to Bouchard by Kasperi Kapanen. Down low to Tomashik. David Tomashik at age 29, making the trek over to play in the National Hockey League. He'll give it up for Matthias Ekholm. Tomashik, nifty play to Kapanen. Spin move to his right. Couldn't get a shot away, however. Ekholm did well to hold the zone. Tomashik had a shot blocked, but Ekholm stayed with it. Howard in the offensive zone, sharp angle, and that's held by Demko with 3 minutes gone by in the first period. No score in the hockey game, and Ekholm twice kept that play in the offensive zone alive for Edmonton.
Real nice touch pass by Tomashik. And we talked, and you're bang on about Hedl. I thought Hedl just wasn't the best Canuck in that game. He might have been the best forward. I know McDavid and Draisaitl had big games, but Tomashik did a great job using his 6'3", 200-plus-pound frame to protect the puck and create a look there for Kapanen.
He's not just a shooter, although he did lead the Swedish league in goals 2 years ago. He led the entire league in points last year. A little bit of a double threat that way.
As you know, there were lots of teams looking at him as a free agent.
Sent in deep by Kiefer Sherwood. Here's Calvin Pickard. Chips it up the right-hand side to Ty Emberson. Calvin Pickard, including the postseason, has a record of 42-19-2 as an Oiler. That is outstanding, especially for a number 2 guy. Here's Nugent Hopkins chipping it behind Mangiapane. Clear by Drew O'Connor. Up the right-hand side, it's sent in by Sherwood, coming off a career year. And again, we talked last week, Bob and I did, about Sherwood and the impact he had not only in Vancouver, but the lack of his presence and what it meant in Nashville as the Predators tumbled from being a playoff team into completely out of contention. Tyler Myers up the right-hand side for Vancouver. Brock Besser to Pettersson. Looking to prove that he's a lot closer to the 100-point player he's been than what he was last year, which was, quite frankly, an average forward. Troy Stetcher to Darnell Nurse, especially 5-on-5. Besser tried to tuck it inside. Elias Pettersson to Myers, a hard, low shot that's held by Pickard with 4 1/2 gone by in the first period. And ultimately, Bob, and again, this is an Edmonton broadcast, but because we're in Vancouver and because we'll see them again in 8 days, it's worthy of note what Elias Pettersson and his career track means for Vancouver. And one of the biggest reasons we're talking about it is because of what that salary cap number looks like.
Yeah, it's a big hit, isn't it?
$11.5 million. Bob, I mean, can he get back on track?
He can, and apparently by all reports, he's in great shape. He's going to need, you got to, when you're getting paid that rate, you got to put up at least 80-plus points and be a plus player.
Arrived at camp a little bit earlier than the past couple years. I know the Canucks brass not happy with his off-season program in the summer of 2024. Noah Philp bulldozes his way in, landed a hard hit on Elias Pettersson. That's the defenseman. The defenseman goes by Elias. The forward goes by Elias. And then you've got the dragon Marcus Pettersson on the back end as well for Vancouver. Canucks bust out. Connor Garland, who was a favorite of Rick Tocchet, the former Canucks head coach. Of course, now they're led by Adam Foote, the longtime Colorado defenseman. A turnover by Philp leads to a chance up top for Roenick and Hughes. They'll trade the puck. Roenick, right point, tried to wrist it down low. That deflected, big hop, and taken in the corner by Matt Savoy. He'll shovel it to Troy Stetcher. Chris Knobloch, a couple days ago, made it clear Matt Savoy is going to start the year with the Edmonton Oilers.
And the Oilers haven't really got going yet this game, Jack. It is just a preseason game.
5.5 gone by in the first period. Tomashik had it stripped by Evander Kane, the former Oiler. Lekarmakia shot off the rush, and that up near the collarbone of Calvin Pickard, but he was able to make the save, held in by Hughes, and he'll spill it down low beneath the goal line, taken by Ekholm. A pass into the feet of Bouchard. He played it expertly and threw it up the gut. Settled by Demko, left for Roenick under pressure from Howard. He forced a bad pass to Ike Howard, and that will lead to an icing call against the Canucks with 13:49 to go in our scoreless first period. Well, we're live in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth in Vancouver.
This is one of the best broadcast locations in the league. It's tough to argue with this.
Well, you've got an eye on your family. You're able to see the family before the game, Bob. You're a very content partner.
Is that what it would be?
You got Bama, a big win last weekend, so you should be in high spirits. Here's McDavid. Lining up for a clean face-off win. Quinn Hughes trying to shovel it outside the zone and does so for Lekarmaki. Draisaitl will track it down. And Bob's going to tell you at the next little stoppage here about a special guest Leon Draisaitl's going to meet later this evening. A steal and a clear by Kiefer Sherwood. The reason he's going to tell you is I don't follow soccer. Centering pass, that was deflected. Here's Sherwood shoveling it across. Myers had a shot kicked wide. Teddy Bluger on it. McDavid stripped him. Wow. Sherwood won a battle from Draisaitl, loading and centering. And that went off the pads of Pickard. A good read. O'Connor might have been looking backdoor for Bluger, and Pickard, that's what he does. Dumped in by Draisaitl and settled by Thatcher Demko. 13:07 to go in the first period. When we come back, that promised anecdote from my broadcast partner, Bob Stauffer. We're live in Vancouver. No score, first period. Preseason finale. It's Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. You know, Alberta's a special place. From the Rockies to the Plains, it's a land of hard work and big dreams. If you're going to tackle it all, you need a truck that can keep up. That's why I can't say enough about my Ford F-150. It's more than a truck. It's a partner. Rugged toughness, serious capability, and smart features that make your life easier, like available Pro Power onboard. The Ford F-150. Get yours today at your Alberta Ford dealer and tell them PB sent you.
Athletes know that to advance your career, you've got to be part of a winning team. So, what about you? Are you working for a winning team? Well, here's your chance to do just that. Brandt is a strong and stable industry leader with career opportunities across Canada. We have hundreds of positions available right now, from parts, sales, positioning technology, heavy-duty mechanics, and more. Be a part of a winning team. Earn your stripes by joining Brandt today. Find out more at BrandtJobs.com.
Real Canadian Superstore has more ways to save than any other major grocer. Check out their weekly flyer for PC Optimum offers, deals on club size, no name, and always low-priced everyday items. Visit in-store to find everything from fashion and home decor to toys and electronics. And don't forget their new Fresh Promise on produce. If your produce isn't fresh, they'll replace it and refund it. There are so many ways to save at Real Canadian Superstore. See their flyer for details.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
7 minutes gone by. First period, no score. Edmonton, Vancouver. All right, who's the soccer player Leon's meeting?
Thomas Mueller is now with the Vancouver Whitecaps. He helped Germany win the 2014 World Cup for years. He played it with Bayern Munich, the same team as Alphonso Davies, who, by the way, played for the Whitecaps before he... Oh, look out.
Here's Pedersen off the lead, bursting down the left-hand side. He's cut off by Brett Kulak. Works it up center ice, and now you've got Podkolzin defended by Roenick. Whistled around the boards, hard hit by Pedersen on Emberson, but he stayed with it, and then poked free by Jake DeBrusk. He's got Kulak and maybe a step on, but Kulak recovered and brushed his shot harmlessly wide. That was good work by Kulak. For a moment, he was beaten. Here's Mangiapane, backs his way in. Left to right come the Oilers into the attacking zone. As I remind my partner, when we're talking about soccer and a broadcast involving me, Cole's notes will suffice. I don't need the Wikipedia page. Here's Stetcher to Nurse.
Can't believe you didn't know that Alphonso played here before he went to Bayern.
Off to Nugent Hopkins, down low, DeBrusk battling. I do know Alphonso Davies has been out a while.
Yes.
Here's a clearing attempt held in by Nurse. Long-range shot easily flicked aside by Demko and backhanded out by Pedersen. Eventually tracked by Noah Phil. They'll work it to Troy Stetcher. Chipped softly inside the Vancouver blue line. Slugged around the boards and out by Roenick. This is going to be icing. Oh, no, they'll wave it off. I guess, again, preseason finale. The officials mindful of that. We've got referees Chris Schlenker and Brandon Schrader on hand. Linesman Brandon Gulritz and Kyle Murchison. Stetcher banged into by Elias Pettersson, the Vancouver defenseman. Savoy wanders over for Edmonton, but as he winds it around, it's going to be cleared by Hedel. Canucks right to left through the middle. Wilander, their rookie defenseman out of Boston University, a chip inside the Edmonton blue line. Highly touted prospect, drafted 11th 2 years ago. Plays for the Terriers, and by all accounts, he'll begin the year in the American Hockey League, though he does wear the number 5.
That is
Bob
interesting.
pointed out, that single digit usually indicates NHL games in the very near future. Lead pass up to Kasperi Kapanen, who ended the second-round series where Edmonton dispatched Vegas in 5. Lekkerimäki up the right-hand side. Here's Tyler Myers, a drive and a save made by Calvin Pickard. 10:39 to go in the first period. But in Kapanen's case, Bob, I mean, he has had a knack in overtime. It might not be quite the biggest goal of his career. Please explain.
Well, he didn't score in the World Cup like Mueller did, but he did. He did score in the World Juniors for Finland.
Overtime winner in the gold medal game against Russia.
There you go.
And he also scored
an overtime winner for the Leafs.
Yeah, double OT. I think that put him up 2-0 in the series against Washington, where the Capitals then won the next 4 and ended up winning the Stanley Cup.
Kapanen signing a 1-year extension at $1 million after being picked up on waivers. And let's face it, Jack, he was better in the playoffs than he was in the regular season.
And you like his speed in the middle six.
And that's why, because he can skate and it becomes a faster game.
Ekholm moves in, takes a shot, whacked it wide for the left point. Kapanen on the rebound with help from Bouchard. Defended by Wilander. First name is Tom. Here's a shot by Ekholm deflected. Up off the boards. Bouchard. High slot. Kapanen. Now Ekholm. Wrist shot. Saved. Demko. Juicy rebound. Pedersen couldn't get it clear. Kapanen given it a second chance. Gives it for Adam Henry. He'll slide it around the boards. Bouchard steps up. Inside Kapanen. Smart pass inside to Tomashik, but he couldn't convert. Kapanen tried to get right back on top of it. Ultimately cleared by Lekramaki.
Is that a play that Tomashik makes in 2 months from now, getting used to playing on the tighter ice surface here than in Europe, where you have a little bit more, over in Europe, where you have a little bit more time and space?
Bouchard, lead pass right-hand side, poke checked off the stick of Trent Frederick. Boy, was that line hot the other night against Vancouver. Teddy Bluger inside the offensive zone, swept in front, open man Rodick, right circle shot, save made by Calvin Pickard. Rebound whistled out to the half wall, cleared by Frederick, up to Draisaitl, settled by Quinn Hughes. Hughes sprints down the middle, tried to hit Bluger, and eventually he was able to get his heel of his stick on it. So Troy Stetcher collects in the Edmonton zone, and it's on to Frederick. Got knocked off his stick from behind. Myers will reverse ahead of McDavid, but then Marcus Pedersen gave it right back to the Edmonton captain. So Draisaitl moves in, tried to go cross ice with it, and that was broken up. Draisaitl led the league a year ago. His first Rocket Richard trophy, 52 goals. McDavid, and remember, he missed 11 games. Down the stretch, probably cost him the MVP, and I'm not so sure he shouldn't have won it anyways. Here's Emberson. Off to Darnell Nurse. Ty Emberson resetting. Both teams making changes on the fly. We have 8.5 to go in a scoreless first. Oilers left to right. Kulak cut off at center. And now grabbed and worked ahead. Ultimately taken by Pedersen against Vasily Podkolzin, who was a highly touted first-round pick of the Canucks, and inexplicably didn't work out with Rick Tocchet. Nugent Hopkins centered, and that went off the stick of Kulak. That could have been in the net. Kulak coming off career highs in goals and points. Open man is Emberson. They'll bump it down low to Mangiapane. Emberson, a right-handed shot, stationed at the left point. Gives it up for Nugent Hopkins. He'll wrist it toward the front of the net. Mangiapane able to win a battle and create for Vasily Podkolzin, who had 8 goals and 24 points a year ago for Edmonton. And in a bit of a trivia question, scored the last goal of Edmonton's season. Filipino tied up on the half wall, taken away by Kulak, centering pass, and Elias Pettersson able to knock it down with his right hand. Got it back from Connor Garland, and it's a reset, 7 1/4 to play in the first period, no score. Agree with you. That was well hockey sense from Elias Pettersson, realizing he's got 4 appendages there he can work with. And Evander Kane tried to funnel it inside of the corner, and that bumped off Darnell Nurse. You've got Troy Stetcher launching one down the middle behind Ronick, pursued by Ike Howard, and played by Ronick up the right-hand side.
We already got to switch the lines here, Jack.
Here's Savoy jumping up with Howard and then looking to get it back. Savoy had his stick tangled up. No call. Phil with Savoy and Howard right now. Cleared by Kane, and up the gut, it's sent in deep by Braden Coots, who's Vancouver's first-round pick from this summer's draft. A lot of people are saying he might get the 9-game NHL trial. Draisaitl to McDavid off the rush, had his pocket picked. Frederick there to pick it up in the right circle, got it to Draisaitl. Puck rolled off his stick, and Myers will lay it off the plexi and back to center, taken by Ekholm as we approach 6 minutes to go in our scoreless first period. Hammered off the boards and down the ice by Pedersen, and because he was under duress and not yet at the red line, that's an icing call against the Canucks.
So for the second consecutive game, a quick decision by Chris Knobloch to put Howard and Savoy together, that time with Noah Philp. And frankly, there should have been a hooking call going. Savoy was free, and he got reeled in.
Oh, there was no question. That was a penalty all day. But as you noted earlier, we're going to likely see fewer whistles than many more, and certainly we saw a ton Wednesday in Seattle. And there's a trip by Sherwood off the draw on McDavid. So we are going to have a penalty called at 14:02 of the first period. And when we come back, Edmonton will be on the power play for the first time tonight. McDavid draws a tripping call. No score. First period, Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. It's Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Drivers seeking power, performance, and unbeatable value don't need to look any further than Freedom Ford. From the legendary F-150 to the rugged Bronco, the versatile Bronco Sport, and full lineup of SUVs built for every adventure, there's a perfect ride for every driver and every lifestyle. With financing rates starting at just 0%, hitting the road has never been easier or more affordable. Visit Freedom Ford on 75th Street in Edmonton and experience the thrill of driving your dream vehicle today.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an HVAC technician.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to install furnaces. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Chemco is more than just a trusted local name. Chemco has been building industry across Canada for more than 60 years. From engineering through to commissioning, construction, maintenance, and beyond, Chemco's multidiscipline approach stands firmly on the belief that Chemco cares. It's not just what they do, it's how they do it. Visit Chemco.com and discover how they can support your project today. Chemco, proud fans of the Edmonton Oilers, serving and supporting communities across Canada for over 60 years.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Oilers power play, take the ice, and you've got McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Nugent-Hopkins, and with Zach Hyman injured for at least the first month of the season, David Tomashik is going to get a look on this first unit, run by Paul McFarland this year with a coaching change. Glenn Gulletson having departed the Oilers to take over for a second time as the head man in Dallas.
Tells you what he's thought of, Jack, when the team had fired him, brings him back as a head coach.
Well, he has a lot of tenure with Jamie Benn. Here's Connor McDavid with a burst of speed down the right-hand side. Cuts left. Draisaitl will give it up for Bouchard. Now McDavid left circle over to Draisaitl, and that was tipped over the stick of Draisaitl. Is able to reel it in, give it back to Bouchard, and then he'll get it right back top of the right circle. A couple years ago, Draisaitl buried 32 on the power play. Shot by Bouchard, and Demko threw a screen set by Tomashik, and Nugent-Hopkins able to come up with it.
I'm going to guarantee you there's no way that David Tomashik, when he was the Swedish League goal-scoring champ the 1 year and the points champ the next year,
he didn't have McDavid and Draisaitl as sidecars?
Well, he didn't. There's no way with his shot he was the net front. He was shooting the pill. He wasn't sitting there as the net front. This is interesting to me what they're trying to do here.
Face-off win for McDavid. Power play continues. Nugent-Hopkins waits for a pass from McDavid and then gives it back to his captain. McDavid coming off the half wall. Tomashik once again net front. Kicked out to Bouchard. Off the boards, McDavid. And now Bouchard high slot. McDavid loads. Nugent-Hopkins, Tomashik pops out, and that's where I think you're going to see that shot from Tomashik. He'll pop out occasionally. McDavid gives it to Tomashik, down low in the left circle. Saucered across, Bouchard a brief bobble, threw it across to McDavid, got away with it against Pettersson. Now Bouchard's open, sets up McDavid, left face-off dot. Power play sitting at a minute, and a save made point blank on Tomashik. This power play brought to you by our friends at Atco Energy, your trusted Alberta retailer. And a pretty good feed inside. Tomashik, net front presence, and he was able to deflect it on net, but Demko made the glove save.
Well, imagine how different this is. You don't have Zach Hyman, and Evander Kane in a salary dump gets moved to Vancouver. He would have been an option as a net front. But you also had Corey Perry did a great job there when Hyman went out. So that's three guys that were options last year in the playoffs. They don't have any of those three guys right now. So Tomashik gets the first, second unit on the ice.
And that means Henrique, Savoy, Frederick, Ekholm, and Ike Howard. Howard loading from the right circle and did not get what he wanted on that pass. It was picked off and cleared by the Canucks through the middle. Howard scored a power play goal in Winnipeg. Here's Ekholm up the left-hand side to Trent Frederick. He'll pump it back to Adam Henrique. And here come the Oilers. 10 seconds remaining in the penalty to Sherwood. It's Howard off to Ekholm. The return pass tipped by Myers, collided with Frederick. Howard tried to center a rolling puck, came off the boards on a lunging play made by Garland. Raced to the puck and Pickard ahead of Sherwood was able to lay it off to Howard. Sprinting to his left is Adam Henrique, cut off by Wilander, and then Henrique got it back and put it back behind the net. The most famous Wilander out of Sweden you can come up with?
Mats?
Correct.
Was he a tennis player?
Won 3 of the 4 majors in 1988.
See.
Darnell Nurse up the left-hand side. That was excellent, Bob. That's not necessarily your sphere of interest, but you came up with it on the fly. But Colson up the left-hand side.
I could probably only name one other Swedish tennis player. He was pretty good.
Absolutely. Same first and last initial.
Yes.
Well, I think he did pretty well off the court as well.
Bjorn Borg, yes. Yes, well, that would not surprise me.
Face-off right side of Calvin Pickard. 3:14 to go in the first period. No score in the hockey game. Edmonton just came up empty on a power play and was whistled for an icing call. So Pettersson will take the draw against Noah Philp. And if Noah Philp wants regular time in the NHL, these are the kind of draws he's going to have to win. And his second effort keeps it alive for Stetcher in the corner. And the Oilers have a chance to break out of the zone. Nurse up the gut. What kind of argument has Philp made to be in the lineup opening night?
5-on-5, he's been very good. The only question is killing penalties and winning draws. That's going to be the only thing that potentially keeps him out of the opening day lineup. He's going to be on the team. They're not going to risk putting him on waivers.
Here's Stetcher, winding it along, taking along the boards. Roenick working over Mangiapane down low. Philp continues to battle, freed it up for Stetcher. Out of the corner, Mangiapane shrugged off a check for Pettersson and let one fly, but that was blocked by Garland. And now it's Pettersson with a soft chip off the backhand side inside the Oiler blue line. It's going to be corralled by Stetcher with 2:20 to go in this rapidly moving first period. And if you're like Bob and I, the key there is rapidly moving. Here's McDavid, a pick set by Kapanen. He'll be called for interference by referee Chris Schlenker. And the first power play of the game awarded to Vancouver. We'll have it for you when we come back to Rogers Arena. 2:12 to go in the period. Kapanen in the box for interference. No score in the preseason finale. The Oilers, the Canucks, from Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. The Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Edmonton. Big moves need big talent, and AMJ is your go-to partner. For all local residential and commercial relocations, AMJ delivers a smooth, stress-free experience. AMJ, your team for every move. Contact your local branch today.
When the Oilers are on the ice, the big hits are a part of the game. But they shouldn't be a part of your drive. If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown & Associates and their over 200 years of combined injury law experience help you. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown & Associates is ready to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Do your tires feel like hockey pucks on the road? Perhaps it's time for a new set of Atturo tires. No matter what you drive, Atturo has the right fit for you, including the all-new Trailblade HT and AZ810, premium all-weather tires for your pickup, car, SUV, or crossover. You can rest assured that Atturo tires will get you through all 4 seasons. Available at Action Car and Truck, Point S, and tire shops everywhere. Find a dealer near you at atturo.com.
Hey, Edmonton. Big moves need big talent, and AMJ is your go-to partner. For all local residential and commercial relocations, AMJ delivers a smooth, stress-free experience. AMJ, your team for every move. Contact your local branch today.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Sorry.
Power play for the Vancouver Canucks as Kapanen clattered into Elias Pettersson, and it was called. So we've got a face-off coming to Calvin Pickard's right-hand side. Shots in this game, 8-6 for Vancouver. Pickard has stopped them all. Vancouver power play was right there with Edmonton's last year. 22%, Edmonton was 23%. And off the draw, Quinn Hughes. And Evander Kane up top. Hughes redirected wide from the high slot. Kane down low. Nap Auto Parts penalty killing unit. Savoy, Philp, Ekholm, and Bouchard. And a clear for the Oilers with a rolling puck that skitters inside the Vancouver line.
As you know, Savoy and Philp held together last year in the American Hockey League for Colin Shaw.
Both of whom had excellent years in Bakersfield. Jake DeBrusk drops it off for Kane. Whistled around the boards. Pettersson will shovel it down low. DeBrusk inside. Backdoor play. Spinning and shooting is Kane, and that was blocked by Pickard. Rebound Mangiapane pursuing. Freed up, however, by Besser. Hughes will walk the line. High slot. Move it to Pettersson. Across to Besser. Now a one-timer taken by Hughes and a blocked shot for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and that's the arsenal that Hughes has added. Here's a little give and go, and Nugent-Hopkins able to one-hand, one-on-net and create a face-off. Demko forced to cover, but a couple years ago, Quinn Hughes really didn't have that in his game. His goal scoring was in the single digits, no longer, and that's why it's generally considered the gap between McCarr and Hughes is a lot tighter than Hughes and the rest of the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Look who's out here.
Draisaitl
and McDavid.
McDavid on the PK with Nurse and Stetcher.
Of course, Janmark's out with an injury right now.
Draisaitl won the faceoff. Here's McDavid on the PK, backing off for Draisaitl, and Edmonton's going to reload with a minute to go in the period. It's a 12-second differential between the end of the penalty and the end of the period. So Chris Knobloch not only looking to kill this off, but maybe getting a shift 5-on-5 late that could put Vancouver in trouble. Lekkerimäki walks in. Hard pass, not handled. And Draisaitl will whistle it down the ice. And now he and McDavid will come off, so that's rendered moot with a half minute to go in the period. Philp is back out there with Savoy, challenging Ekholm and Bouchard, the two defensemen, and Ekholm hacked it free on an attempted rush by Vancouver, and that allowed Noah Philp to clear to the red line. Roenick over to Lekkerimäki. He'll send it around. Pickard could not knock it down. Ekholm failed to get it out, kept alive. Lekkerimäki, one-timer scoop from the left circle. And with 9.3 to go in the first period, that'll be an even strength goal for Vancouver. It's 1-0 Canucks. Jonathan Lekkerimäki, 15th overall pick in 2022.
He can shoot the puck. We know that about him.
He buried that one. Top right corner. Not much chance for Pickard. But the Oilers had an opportunity to clear. Did not get it done.
Can't defer too much. And Ekholm and Philp did a little bit of an I got it, you got it routine there. And Lekkerimäki just rifled one idle glove side on the netminder, Calvin Pickard.
And Lekkerimäki involved in that long postseason run that culminated in Abbotsford winning the Calder Cup last year. And they've got a couple of holdovers from that team, Bob, that are going to make the Canucks out of camp. That's Lekkerimäki's second of the preseason. Off the draw, Marcus Pettersson wheels back into his own zone, up to Drew O'Connor, and it's whistled high and wide by Kiefer Sherwood. That'll do it for the opening period as both teams fail to convert the power play, but the Canucks, with the Oilers just haven't come back to full strength, able to get one lit. It's Jonathan Lekkerimäki.
As you know, Lekkerimäki scored the last goal the last time these two teams played and rifled one home in that game too. And here he buried one. Quick turnover. He can shoot it. Mid-first round pick. But again, between Ekholm and Philp, they got to make a play there.
The last one they played in the preseason.
Yes.
He did get games last year, Bob, 24. He's still a rookie because he didn't hit the 25 mark. But as you talked about, the experience gained going through that postseason run with Abbotsford, invaluable for some of these young players breaking into the league.
Well, they had some decent success there, and Lecker-Mackey had 19 goals and 28 points in 36 games in the minors last year, but had decent numbers in the NHL as well, all things considered. So the Oilers weren't super sharp early. Vancouver was better. Then again, Rob Brown said it before the game. It's about getting through the game. That said, without injuries, last preseason game, there are some guys that are trying to secure maybe not just a spot on the team, but their role on the team as well.
So 1-0 for the Canucks after the opening period of play. The shots 10-7 in favor of Vancouver. Edmonton starting Calvin Pickard tonight. Thatcher Demko for the Canucks. Stuart Skinner expected to be the opening night starter when Edmonton plays host to Calgary to open its 46th season in the National Hockey League on Wednesday night. We'll have it for you on 880 Chat of the Oilers Radio Network. That'll be an 8 o'clock face-off. And for the 35th time in 46 years, it'll be Edmonton opening at home. David Tomashik joining us now after that first period. And David, a question that Bob raised during the power play over in Sweden. How often were you net front on the power play?
I would say not much, but
that's what we figured.
That's what we were guessing.
But hopefully it didn't look that bad.
No, you didn't. And in fact, Demko made a nice save on you. It still plays to your advantage in terms of your hands in and around the net. That's a strength of yours, is it not?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the first one was really lucky. I tipped it right into his glove. Second one was maybe also into his glove, but I could maybe touch it just a little bit better. But the first one, I thought he didn't see it was a tip right in the glove.
We talked, David, today. I mean, you played for Belleville for a couple of years in the OHL, but you established yourself as an NHL caliber player, in terms of getting that look with your work over in Sweden. How much of an adjustment has it for you to come back to North America and play in a smaller ice surface with a little less time and space out there?
Obviously, it's an adjustment. It's a different game a little bit in Europe, and but I would say it kept getting better each game, and the guys are really good, and they're helping you with that. So overall, this was I think pretty good period, and just trying to get better and enjoy it too.
Thank you, David.
Thanks,
good luck rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
That's David Tomashik, who had a couple of point-blank looks on the Oiler power play. Vancouver's power play didn't convert either, but on the back end of it, having just come back to full strength, Edmonton could only watch helplessly as a failed clearing attempt ended up on the stick of the wrong guy. Yeah. Braden Coots is going to get an assist on that, and his charmed camp, and he was kind of quiet in that first period, but it continues, and we've heard nothing but good things about the Sherwood Park product, who of course was Vancouver's first-round draft pick. And you get, again, 9 games, Bob, before they make the decision whether or not to send you back, in Braden's case, to the Seattle Thunderbirds of the WHL.
I know that Braden has gone on record as thanking Tyler Michaels, your son, in Sherwood Park for helping him.
I appreciate you keeping that alive, Bob. Yes, at some point, we're going to have to ditch that storyline.
Do you know who is watching this like a hawk? Bill LaForge, the GM of the Seattle Thunderbirds. Yeah. Because Coots is committed to the Western League. There were teams like Victoria that lost 5 or 6 players to the NCAA. Coots is going back to the WHL at some point. Probably is going to be in the mix to make Team Canada. Edmonton's Jerry Johansson represents him. This guy's had a great camp, and I'm with you. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he got a couple games in the regular season.
And if I may, I've got a fearless forecast for you.
All right.
I think you're going to see Braden Coots captaining this team at some point in the future.
All right.
I think he's a future captain of the Vancouver Canucks.
There was a guy who once talked about Chris Knobloch being a head coach one day in Edmonton, but
I don't remember that. All I remember is that there was a certain broadcaster who outfitted Chris Knobloch at a certain draft that netted Edmonton a certain player who's wearing number 97.
Yeah, there you go. I just remember the scouts for other teams seeing Knobloch in his bright orange Oilers TV T-shirt, and you just knew it was inevitable that one day he was going to work for the Oilers organization.
And you also knew that the bright orange that was selected that year would never adorn the body type of my broadcast partner, Bob
Nobody
Stauffer.
needs to see a 5'11", 245-pound pylon, okay?
You did not want that Highlander
All right,
orange,
well,
and I can't say I blame you.
Have some fun tonight, Jack.
Jonathan Lecker-Maki, I'm having it. His second of the preseason. No, not at all. 1-0 at 1950 off a bit of a broken play. The Canucks had the lead in our preseason finale. When we come back, it'll be Brendan Escott and Rob Brown. We're live from Rogers Arena in Vancouver. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Did you know that there are 9 Napa Auto Parts stores serving the greater Edmonton area and have been doing so for more than 50 years? Since Napa first opened in Edmonton, the community has grown and vehicles have changed, but you can always trust Napa Auto Parts to provide you with the expert know-how and the best vehicle parts. And if that isn't enough, every time you visit a Napa Auto Parts store when you present your AMA card, you receive an additional 10% discount on all retail parts and accessories. Visit your local Napa Auto Parts store for more offers and expert know-how. Napa Auto Parts is a proud fan of the Edmonton Oilers.
It's our YEG with 880 Chad.
Ready to explore your inner dancing queen? Wriggle into those bell bottoms as ABBA Mania Back to the Disco Dimension hustles onto the stage at Jubilation's Dinner Theater now through November 2nd. Then discover your autumn comfy era as the Edmonton Fall Home Show returns to the Expo Center October 17th through the 19th with a vibrant marketplace perfect for your next home project.
For details on these and more events, visit 880ched.com. This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Lecker-Maki up the right-hand side. Here's Tyler Myers, a drive and a save made by Calvin Pickard. 10:39 to go in the first period.
We'll call that our highlight zone, brought to you by Century Casinos. All in, all games, all season. Century Casinos, 3 great locations in Edmonton, St. Albert, and next to Edmonton International Airport. Welcome to the winner's zone. It is 1-0 for the Vancouver Canucks on that last second, almost literally last second goal by Jonathan Lecker-Maki, set up by Sherwood Park's Braden Coots there. And overall, a period that I thought kind of flew by ends up in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. Overall assessment of that opening 20 minutes, Rob Brown.
I thought sloppy at times. I thought the Vancouver Canucks had the better of the chances. Their power play obviously didn't score, but right afterwards, before Kapanen could get back into the play, they were able to put one past Pickard. I mean, Lecker-Maki, the last game we saw these two teams play in Edmonton, scored almost from the exact same spot. The kid can shoot. But that was set up by just a poor decision by Kapanen. You got Connor McDavid coming up the ice, full speed. He doesn't need any help. Kapanen takes an interference call, an unnecessary penalty that took away McDavid at 100 miles an hour with a scoring chance possibility and gives the Vancouver Canucks momentum going into the end of the period. So not the Oilers' best 20 minutes, but I agree with you. That was probably the fastest paced game we've seen thus far in the preseason, and that's probably because we have 2 NHL teams dressed.
Yeah, exactly. And an NHL power play dressed for the Edmonton Oilers, which we finally got more of an extended look at than the 20 seconds we saw in the first place a couple games ago. What was your assessment of that first look, and maybe even in particular David Tomasic on that line?
Good movement. They controlled the puck the entire time that the first unit was out there. Easy access. When the puck went down, they got the puck in very quickly, which we come to expect with Connor McDavid carrying it up. Tomasic had a couple looks and one nice play. It was a nice deflection, just a better save by Thatcher Demko. Yeah, it was. I mean, there's one thing that I don't ever fear, and that is the Oilers' power play not being productive. If they don't score, they usually create. And they created chances there. And I would imagine as this game moves on, the Canucks are going to want to stay out of the box, as you don't want to give the Oilers' power play more and more opportunities.
Do you think that skill set of Tomasic's, as they were talking about with him as he walked off the ice, do you think it serves him well playing in front of the net like that? Or do we not really know enough about this player to truly understand where his skill set may be most applicable?
Well, he obviously has a high hockey IQ. You don't lead a league in scoring unless you understand the offensive part of it. Sometimes, as he said in his interview with Bob and Jack, he's never played in front of the net before. Now, where he'll benefit is he's got good hands. That his point totals in the past show that he can make plays. But some of his assets won't be used by being the guy in front of the net. I mean, we all know the Oilers' power play runs through three players, Connor, Leon, and Bouchard, and they're moving it around. Your job's to get open. Now, where his skill set and hockey IQ come into play is when he sees the puck in a certain spot. Say, for example, when McDavid had it at the end, now you go backdoor, you push off a little bit, you put yourself into a scoring position and get your stick in the right place, and he did that. The other thing I liked about on the power play, Bouchard shot one from the point. A lot of net front presence players, and one for particular, Milan Lucic, when he was here, they would move out of the way and try to tip the puck. But what they did is they allowed the goaltender to see it. Instead of staying in front of the goalie, Tomashek stayed in front of the goaltender, Demko, which makes it harder for Demko to find the puck. So that is a plus that we saw so far. I mean, he was out there for 1:20, so we've seen 1:20 of his power play time so far, but a couple nice plays he made, and he's hoping to cement that spot until Zach Hyman gets healthy.
That's our Inside the Game analyst, Rob Brown. We are at the intermission, back with the out-of-town scoreboard. Right now, you're listening to Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone this summer. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Looking for top-notch dry cleaning? Riverbend Cleaners in Edmonton have been family-owned for over 40 years. They're experts in tailoring, wedding gown cleaning, and leather and suede care. From coveralls to curtains to jeans and jerseys, they do it all. Enjoy the convenience of free pickup and delivery, as well as corporate discounts. Trust Riverbend Cleaners for quality service that's been a local favorite for decades. Visit them at 560 Riverbend Square or call 780-988-6685. Riverbend Cleaners, where experience meets exceptional care.
Global News, I'm Thomas Dias. Edmonton police are asking for help identifying and locating a sexual assault suspect after releasing a composite sketch of the person. Back on July 7th, police say a group of parents at a playground near 109th Street and 162nd Avenue were approached by a male youth who asked if he could play with their children. Police say during this time, it's believed that an 8-year-old girl was assaulted after the suspect took her into a wooded area beside the park. Edmonton police say they have now charged a semi-driver in a deadly collision that took place back on the afternoon of June 17th. The semi had fatally struck a 39-year-old man after he got out of his van to inspect it on the shoulder of White Mud Drive near 111th Street. 38-year-old Bhupender Singh has been charged with dangerous driving causing death. And 55-year-old Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison for flying paid sex workers around the U.S. during drug-fueled, sometimes violent sex parties. This with the judge saying that he was unconvinced that if Combs was released, the crimes would not happen again. News on demand at 880chad.com.
Looking for custom flags, banners, or canopy tents? Aurora Flags and Banners has a dedicated team to provide you with custom solutions and quality products. Aurora Flags has proudly serviced Canadian businesses and organizations for more than 30 years. Get a quote today at auroraflags.com.
Looking for the ultimate dinner and show experience? Look no further than Edmonton's famous Mayfield Dinner Theater, where you'll enjoy world-class productions and delectable dining in a new renovated theater. Whether it's date night, a work party, a celebration, or a spontaneous night out with friends, your experience at the Mayfield Dinner Theater is sure to be a memorable one. The 2025-2026 season is on sale now, so check out the exciting lineup of shows and get your tickets today at mayfieldtheater.ca.
Looking for custom flags, banners, or canopy tents? Aurora Flags and Banners has a dedicated team to provide you with custom solutions and quality products. Aurora Flags has proudly serviced Canadian businesses and organizations for more than 30 years. Get a quote today at auroraflags.com.
This This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard for our friends at Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Oil Kings in action as their road swing continues through the East. They are beating Moose Jaw 5-0 right now with 13-ish minutes left in the third period. We'll update you on the rest of the NHL scores during the second intermission. That is the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. We are at the intermission right now. You've got second period action with Jack and Bob coming right up. This is your Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
You've been listening to At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
It's game on at City Ford. With an all-star lineup of 2025 Ford favorites. Save up to $5,000 on Escapes.
Up to $6,000 on Bronco Sports.
And up to $16,000 on F-150s.
Plus, find 0% financing options available on all 3 vehicles.
Score an all-star deal today. And spin and win an iPad, Oilers merch, Costco card, even a trip to Vegas.
Visit City Ford on the St. Albert Trail.
It's a new era for Ford in Edmonton. Welcome to Big West Ford. Located westbound on Stony Plain Road just east of the Henday. Big West Ford is Edmonton's newest and most exciting Ford dealership. Whether you're after the legendary F-150, the Powerhouse 350 Super Duty, or the adventurous Bronco, they've got you covered with exceptional selection and service right here in your city. Big West Ford, driven by you. Visit Big West Ford at 18208 Stony Plain Road or online at bigwestford.com.
Are insects invading your home? I'm Tyler, a trained expert with Able Pest Control. In your home or business, insects can be a big concern. Just ask Emma.
I had ants and spiders in my kitchen and basement, and I was worried they would infest other areas of my home. I picked up the phone and called Able.
Good call, Emma. I was glad I could help. At Able, we love what we do, and we know how to keep your property and family protected.
Able, we're on it.
My name is Tyler with Able Pest Control, and I'm on it.
Now, more than ever, it's time to shop Canadian. Support your local businesses that create jobs and invest in our communities. Brought to you by Proudly Canadian 880 Chad. All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Rogers Arena, preseason finale. The Edmonton Oilers 4-2-1 thus far in the preseason, and coming off 4 consecutive 100-point regular season campaigns, 3 trips to the conference final in the last 2 years. Losers in the Stanley Cup final to the Florida Panthers, who, of course, if you haven't heard by now, perhaps you're still not in hockey mode yet, have lost their captain, Sasha Barkov, for the entire regular season. Jonathan Lekromaki could really shoot it from Braden Coots. The only goal of that first period came with 9.3 left on the clock. It's 1-0 Vancouver as we begin the second 5-on-5. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you live in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Nugent Hopkins against Teddy Bluger, and we're underway with period number 2. Darnell Nurse up the right-hand side. Edmonton and Vancouver will meet in 8 days' time at Rogers Place in downtown Edmonton, where the Oilers demolished the Canucks twice last year by scores of 7-3, 6-2. Here's a breakdown defensively. Drew O'Connor inside to Teddy Bluger, but he could not sneak a pass through to Kiefer Sherwood, and the Oilers will bring it the other way, right to left. Edmonton in the white uniforms, Vancouver in the blue. Canucks beaten by Edmonton 2 years ago in the playoffs in 7 games. A series the Oilers never led until Game 7, when they built a 3-0 lead and hung on to win 3-2. Nugent Hopkins up the left-hand side. Trent Frederick now. Troy Stetcher on to Vasily Podkolzin. And that was taken off his stick by Quinn Hughes. Podkolzin got back into the mix. Of course, Podkolzin, teammates with most of the core members of this Vancouver squad from that team. Big shakeup last year. JT Miller did not pan out in terms of his relationship with Elias Pettersson. And Jim Rutherford was forced to make a deal that, in his own words, he didn't want to make. Here's Draisaitl driving in right-hand side, and Miller's now the captain of the New York Rangers. Draisaitl And Hughes got in tight and went in back first into the Oiler boards. And looks a little bit worse for wear, but he's able to pop right back up and eventually dig it out of his own end back to Matthias Ekholm. On to McDavid, who will cut to his right around Besser. McDavid darting in. Checked by Elias Pettersson. Got it off to Draisaitl. A look back to Kulak, and that pass to his wrong side, and he was unable to keep it in with the backhand. 2 minutes gone by. Second period, it remains 1-0 Vancouver. Both teams will open the season against the Calgary Flames. Calgary will be in Edmonton Wednesday and here in Vancouver on Thursday. Philip Hedl will swing it in left-hand side, picked off by Noah Philp and worked up the left-hand side for Ike Howard, sent in deep. Finishing his check is Kasperi Kapanen. Hovering close by is Tomasic. Now you've got Vilander and a lunging play made by Ty Emerson to free the puck up for Kapanen. It's sent in deep. Elias Pettersson turned it over. Tomasic unable to hit Kapanen. It was sprinting down the slot. Stetcher holds the zone for Edmonton, and Vancouver's a bit bottled up. Shots were 10-7 in that first period in favor of the Canucks, who did manage to scrape out a 3-2 win in the only regular season meeting between these two last year in this building. And that'll be the last time for several years that there will only be 3 regular season matchups. Here's an offside whistle against Adam Henrique, as Phil perhaps made one move too many as he broke in from the right-hand side. 3 1/4 gone by in the second period. So, Bob, at this point, Janmark doesn't look like he's going to be ready for the regular season. What's the word on Jake Wallman?
He'll be ready.
He'll play Wednesday against Calgary.
Yep. Likely with Darnell Nurse, Stetcher in that spot tonight. Alec Regula was in that spot in Seattle. Played very well. Played 19 minutes. Looked good.
Bumped in by Noah Philp. Taken by Marcus Pettersson and then reversed up the left-hand side. Tyler Myers to Evander Kane. Rink wide across. He was looking for Lekkerimäki. Picked off by Darnell Nurse. Kane looking right-hand side. And you've speculated that the Oilers might go 13 forwards and 8 defensemen to start the year.
There is a pot. I mean, they're going to have to potentially look at putting Hyman on season opening LTIR. May result in a paper transaction, which you can do until October the 10th, until the HL season starts, with David Tomasic. He doesn't have to clear waivers. He would just come back up once you, just because of rookie bonuses. Look out.
Nugent Hopkins on a lead pass from Darnell Nurse. Had it stripped. And it's Quinn Hughes for Vancouver.
The Oilers haven't had much going in this game, John.
Hughes to Roenick up the right-hand side. Had a couple good looks on the power play. Now Mangiapane. Caught a lead pass, but he couldn't do much with it. And Hughes and Roenick will reassume control of the puck. Lifted back to the middle, settled down by Bouchard. Off to Nugent Hopkins. He'll carry the play through the neutral zone. Mangiapane left wing. When he tried to return it to Nugent Hopkins, it was picked off by Roenick, who promptly turned it over. Podkolzin a backhand slide across, but that was knocked down by Roenick. Now Podkolzin shoots, and the save made by Thatcher Demko. So Roenick gave an opportunity. Now a steal. Here's McDavid down low. Mangiapane denied point blank. What a good look. And Thatcher Demko able to come up with a save. Twisted back to Bouchard by Leon Draisaitl. Bouchard over to Draisaitl. Hughes got a piece of the puck. Draisaitl able to gather, set up McDavid, and now Bouchard high slot, looking for a seam to shoot. Not there. Pulls it back. Inside the blue line to Ekholm. Return down low. Frederick will let it go through to Draisaitl up on the right half boards. Hughes is in his grill and forced it out of the zone. Center ice. Bouchard to Leon Draisaitl. He's checked off the puck. McDavid came over to give him a hand. Hits to the net and then could not lock and load for a wrist shot that would have tested Demko. Vancouver will be guilty of an icing call with 14:04 to go in the second period. McDavid just couldn't quite finish that play off after he ducked inside a pair of Canucks and was for a moment open in the slot after earlier setting up Mangiapane for a pretty good look.
There you go. What a chance for Mangiapane. This is the best shift of the game for Edmonton, 5-on-5.
Tomášek won the faceoff. Howard will get it back from Ty Emberson. Pressure from Pettersson. Canucks trapped in their own end for now. Pettersson off to Jake DeBrusk, and now on to Quinn Hughes. Tireless defender. Down low to Elias Pettersson. He'll try to center. Hughes, a lot of nights, Bob, is going to play half the hockey club, half the hockey game for this club. And he better if they're going to have success. Vancouver, I have as a bubble team right now. I think there are more bubble teams this year in the Western Conference than there were a year ago. You might see, an interloper like Anaheim make a run at a postseason berth this year.
They got a lot of young talent up front.
Demko to knock it down. Wilander, soft chip up the right-hand side. Nurse across to Troy Stetcher. Intercepted by Elias Pettersson. He'll bang it down low. Picker to knock it down. Utah might have a say in one of the wild card spots.
They've got a couple injuries. They haven't been able to score at all in the preseason, but it's just preseason.
That's the thing. At some point, that club is either going to have to take a step forward or consider radical changes. I thought they might have been on the precipice last year. Here's Noah Philp with Adam Henrique. Marcus Pettersson protecting in the corner. Myers hovering close by. Henrique will guide one out to Darnell Nurse. His shot off balance, deflected wide by Pettersson. And up the right-hand side to Braden Coots, who wound up with an assist on the game's only goal to Lekkerimäki. And now Coots and Lekkerimäki operating on the right-hand side. Kane up top for Myers. Hughes, Lekkerimäki. Little spin move on Henrique. Now slides down low to Braden Coots. His interior pass intercepted by Matt Savoy. And as Bob mentioned, an excellent defensive read by Savoy. Savoy last year in Bakersfield, 19 goals, 54 points. Philp in 11 fewer games, 19 goals, 35 points. Stetcher to Draisaitl. And along with Howard and Tomášek, those four players would certainly love to play a number of NHL games this year. In various roles, perhaps, but they'd like to spend more time at the NHL level than the American Hockey League. Here's a steal by Pettersson. Takes it in for Brock Besser. The Canucks come thundering in left to right. Broken up by Nurse, and now McDavid and Draisaitl come charging up the left-hand side. It's McDavid mishandled the puck as he came over the blue line. DeBrusk gave it right back to Mattias Ekholm. He'll race back in, move it over to Frederick. One-time teammate of DeBrusk when the two were in Boston. Tyler Myers up the right-hand side. Ekholm mashed into by Besser. McDavid dug it out of the corner when he tried to center. It was intercepted and laid ahead by Philip Hedl to Besser. Chipped in softly behind the Oiler defense as we approach the midway point of this hockey game. 1-0 Canucks. Bouchard with 10.5 to go in the second period. Right to left, gives it up for Podkolzin. Behind the net to Mangiapane. Nugent Hopkins swung it inside. Bouchard lost an edge, fell down, and Connor Garland the other way. Tried to center. Elias Pettersson couldn't sneak a shot through. Arshdeep Bays hovering close by. Wilander tried to funnel it down low to Garland. Bouchard able to cut that off. Garland got back on top of the puck and returned it up top to center ice, and Hughes will reset back in his own end for Vancouver. Drew O'Connor flicked ahead by Bluger. Garland tried to find Bluger, and Kulak denied that opportunity. Bluger taken off his feet by Emberson. Up top, Roenick. High slot, O'Connor. Change of pace. Lost the stick to Podkolzin, and a shot denied by by Calvin Pickard at the expense of Teddy Bluger. But Colson lost his stick, and that left the slot open for Bluger. But Calvin Pickard with one of the best of the 11 saves he's made thus far tonight. It's been quiet on the shot clock here in the second period through 10 minutes. We've got a grand total of 3 shots on net for the two hockey clubs. And the score remains Canucks 1, Edmonton 0. This is the preseason finale from Rogers Arena, the Oilers Radio Network.
Be a savvy Edmonton hotel shopper. Book through Edmonton'sBestHotels.com and receive up to $225 in cash rewards. There are over 55 member hotels to choose from, offering their best value rates. Edmonton'sBestHotels.com. Rewards with every booking.
Hey folks, Paul Brandt here. Around these parts, we work hard, play hard, and we demand the best. Sometimes you need a truck that's a cut above. The Ford Super Duty. Tough enough for any job with the style and luxury you deserve. It's as powerful as it is refined, with cutting-edge features that make every drive a pleasure. In short, this ain't your everyday pickup. The Ford Super Duty. Drive the finest truck Alberta has to offer today at your Alberta Ford dealer. And tell them PV sent you.
Pizza 73, the official pizza of your Edmonton Oilers. Loyal to the oil, in Edmonton we trust. Rising to the top like a pizza crust. Got the flavors to play, yeah. Cooking on ice. Hunger happens, gotta score a slice. Let's go Oilers, E-Town unite. Ice District to Jasper, downtown to White. Wearing orange and blue, game on the street. Make the right call, Pizza 73. Let's go Oilers. 737373, Pizza 73.
Be a savvy Edmonton hotel shopper. Book through Edmonton'sBestHotels.com and receive up to $225 in cash rewards. There are over 55 member hotels to choose from, offering their best value rates. Edmonton'sBestHotels.com. Rewards with every booking.
Oilers hockey.
Oiler 50-50 presented by Rogers. Back for the preseason. Early bird prizing tonight, including a signed Oiler jersey and a pair of lower bowl tickets for the Oilers and the Utah Mammoth. October the 28th at Rogers Place. Jackpot sitting at $92,000 and counting right now. Off the draw in the Oilers zone, Hughes skated to his left, tried to go back to Kane in the right circle. That was broken up. Roenick fired a shot high and wide. It was cleared out by Adam Henrique. Savoy, a collision with Roenick. That freed the puck up behind the Vancouver net. Savoy and Phil trying to dig it out. Familiar with one another's games, Adam Henrique comes off the half wall, but could not make a play to the middle. And Emberson will have to retrieve after a poke check by Vancouver. Henrique on to Brett Kulak. Up the gut, mishandled by Savoy. Off the turnover, Kiefer Sherwood. Moves in for Vancouver. Big hit in the corner. Nice work by Emberson to take out O'Connor. Puck flutters its way to Kulak and into the feet of Noah Phil. Phil backing off, turned it over. O'Connor tried to give it up for Bluger. On the puck is Emberson. Freed it up for Brett Kulak. The Oiler team defense now labeled a strength. The question was whether or not the goal. But again, extension coming on a day where it's important. Finals. Bowman did it 3 years in a row with well because you were alive as opposed to, say, for instance, yours truly. You had 6 established teams and then 6 expansion teams. So the Blues were a 500 club that went to the final 3 years in a row.
They were the best of the expansion teams.
Here's Roenick to the middle. DeBrusque against Leon Draisaitl. Trying to plow his way through Pettersson. McDavid chipped it softly. Hughes up the right-hand side. Nurse a shot sailing wide. Came off the end boards. Roenick carved it up the left-hand side, and Nurse will settle it down. Bob watched those late 60s Stanley Cup final on his Trinitron. Track stats even then as a youngster.
That Blues team didn't have a very good coursing.
Here's Connor Garland in from the left-hand side. Shot Elias Pettersson, a save made by Calvin Pickard. Kasperi capping it up the right-hand side. And a clear by McDavid, who looks a little bit frustrated or perhaps just tired of the preseason as he gets it in deep.
Well, he won't have to be as tired next year.
Filipino at center. He has 4 games next year and an 84-game regular season. Vilander's shot. That clipped the right shoulder of Pickard on its way by. Rebound Baines, who led the entire Western Hockey League in scoring a few years ago. Pickard slid over to make a nice right shoulder save on Garland, and here come the Oilers off the rebound. Tomášek, one-timer ripped home by Kasperi Kapanen, and this game is tied, and that was absolutely smoked. A couple of right-handed shots hooking up for the equalizer. Kapanen from Tomášek at 13:40 of period 2, and we're tied at 1.
Well, 4-on-2 jailbreak for the Oilers, and Tomášek found the right guy. And sometimes that's a tough pass for a righty to make to a righty to the short side there. And perfectly picked up and executed by Kapanen. Jack, it's got to be stated, Kapanen had some struggles 5-on-5 in the regular season. He was a different player come playoff time, earned himself.
Oilers weren't as good when they sat him in the postseason. They were better with him in the lineup than not with him in the lineup. And so Kasperi Kapanen has tied the game, and that's his 3rd of the preseason, tying Darnell Nurse for the team lead. Started with an alert save made by Pickard against Connor Garland, who I believe had picked the corner.
Yep.
Here's Podkolzin. Andrew Mangiapane against Marcus Pettersson, lost the handle.
That was a stick they didn't call.
5 3/4 minutes left in the second period. Kulak came over and took the puck rather routinely from Evander Kane. Nugent Hopkins, good play to keep a lead pass from Ekholm from turning into an offside. And likewise, Kane does it on a lead pass that dribbles into the Edmonton zone. The Oilers clear back through the middle. Here's Elias Pettersson for the Canucks. Centering pass broken up by Emberson, and now you've got Draisaitl, Frederick, and McDavid away. Draisaitl right to left, hits the trailer. Emberson, a backhander to save. Rebound McDavid, tried to kick it out in the slot, and that was stolen and flipped out calmly by Pettersson as we go inside 5 minutes to play here in period 2.
Oilers are moving their feet here a little bit more, Jack.
Draisaitl to Kulak, up the gut. Draisaitl stymied at the Vancouver line. Now you've got Drew O'Connor taken down to one knee on the Blueger. A shot off the rush and a save made by Pickard. Rebound carefully swept up to Frederick by Kulak. Advanced through the middle. Myers will make the play on the puck for Vancouver, and now it's Kiefer Sherwood in deep left-hand side. Tyler Myers, now in his 17th year, save made by Pickard. 4:22 to go in the second period. Myers, seems like eons ago, won the Calder Trophy as a rookie with the Buffalo Sabres in 2009. That was back when Buffalo was an annual playoff participant. Now they've missed the record, they've missed the postseason a record 14 years in a row. 1-1, our score, Edmonton, Vancouver, 4:22 to play in the second period. And we'll be right back with more Ford Dealers NHL preseason hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Chemco is more than just a trusted local name. Chemco has been building industry across Canada for more than 60 years. From engineering through to commissioning, construction, maintenance, and beyond, Chemco's multidiscipline approach stands firmly on the belief that Chemco cares. It's not just what they do, it's how they do it. Visit Chemco.com and discover how they can support your project today. Chemco, proud fans of the Edmonton Oilers, serving and supporting communities across Canada for over 60 years.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
The Citadel Theater invites you to join them for the extraordinary journey of Pai Patel, a young boy shipwrecked and stranded on a lifeboat with only a Bengal tiger for company. Life of Pai at the Citadel Theater until October 5th. Immerse yourself in Yan Martel's harrowing tale as Pai struggles to survive, confronting the limits of his faith and his resilience. It's a visually stunning theatrical experience you do not want to miss. Get your tickets now for Life of Pi at the Citadel box office or at citadeltheater.com.
Back in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth, 1-1 our score, a face-off win, and inside the puck intended for Baines, but he couldn't one time and on net. Nurse comes up with it for Edmonton in a fierce battle with Philip Hedl. Now Phil breaking away from Garland, hits Nurse in stride. Left wing shot deflected by Vilander over the net, and Hedl on it for the Canucks. Kasperi Kapanen moments ago tying this game for the Oilers off the rush from Tomashik. Here's the loose puck in front, and now we've got a penalty. It will be a hold against Vancouver, and the Oilers will have a power play and an opportunity to take their first lead of the night after Lekkerimäki scored late in the first period to give Vancouver a 1-0 lead.
Well, Noah Phillips had a tough night. He just made a great reverse pivot off the boards, and Wielander was water skiing off him, and with one hand on the stick, beat two players for a great chance in front.
And created the power play.
Yep.
That pass getting through forced Vancouver's Vilander to take the hold on Philp, and at the same time create an opportunity for McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent-Hopkins with Tomashik lined up in the slot alongside McDavid. Bouchard stationed left point as Draisaitl will take the draw against Teddy Bluger. 3:48 to go, second period. Second Atco power play of the night for the Oilers. Down low, a backhander, short side. Draisaitl had it stopped by Demko. Myers on him. On to Connor McDavid. Back to Draisaitl on the goal line. McDavid right half boards. Hovering, top of the circle. Back to Draisaitl down low. Saucer to McDavid. Tomashik in the slot. Instead, it's given to Bouchard. His shot, sprawling save, rebound score. Draisaitl buries the rebound. Demko stopped Bouchard, but then flailed helplessly as Draisaitl buries his third goal inside of a week against Vancouver. He had 2 goals and 2 assists in the win on Sunday, and he's given Edmonton the lead with 2-1 with 3:20 to play in the second period.
Well, Demko made a great glove save off of Bouchard, but he couldn't control a rebound. And Leon rips it home. But starts with a face-off win on the O-zone on the power play by Leon Draisaitl. McDavid will pick up the second assist.
So the Oilers, 2 goals, 3 minutes apart. And after a tough night on special teams, despite the Nurse power play goal, the Oilers gave up a shorty, as well as 2 power play goals on Wednesday against Seattle with a decidedly different lineup. Now they've taken the lead 2-1 on their vaunted power play. And again, a lot of people, as Vancouver gets it in deep, Ekholm to play it for Edmonton, talked about how the Oilers' power play fell off. Well, it was still nearly 24%.
It was 26% before Connor and Leon got hurt in the final 15 games of the year.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is it kind of tailed off late in the year. And this is the era of the power play in the National Hockey League. I mean, 10 years ago, Bob, 24% would have led the league.
Right.
Now it's not inside the top 10. Here's Roenick shooting it in for Vancouver with 2.5 to go in the second period. And the Canucks' 1-0 lead after 1 has turned into a 2-1 deficit as we approach the latter stages of this middle frame. Braden Coots muscled off the puck by Kulak down low. He'll fling it down the ice. This should be icing, and Vilander able to beat Podkolzin to the spot with 2:10 remaining in the second period. The shots are 16-15 in favor of Vancouver, but Kapanen and Draisaitl have given an Edmonton a 2-1 lead here late in the second. That late season injury trouble
worked itself into the first 2 games of the LA series as well.
And also, I think, caused a fall off, not only just in the power play, but you look 11th in goals scored. That was a little deceptive. 14th in goals against. The Oilers kind of wandered into the postseason with, by their standards, relatively mediocre numbers. But once LA gave Edmonton life, the Oilers reeled off 4 straight wins against Los Angeles and then dispatched Vegas and Dallas in 5 games. So it was 12 out of 14, make it 13 out of 15 with a win in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final before the Panthers won 4 of the next 5 to win the Stanley Cup. A shot by Vilander as he entered the zone, left point, deflected out of play, and that'll bring us to our final timeout of period number 2. 1:35 to play in the frame. Kapanen and Draisaitl with goals here in the second. It's Edmonton 2, Vancouver 1, the preseason finale live from Rogers Arena. The Oilers Radio Network.
As the official medical imaging provider to the Edmonton Oilers, MIC ensures precision in every shot. And if you need medical imaging attention, you can count on MIC to get you back in the game. Whether it's a classic wrist shot, that is, X-ray, soft tissue scan, or advanced imaging, MIC provides timely and expert diagnosis. So go where the pros go and book an appointment at any of their 15 convenient Edmonton and area locations. Learn more at mic.ca.
From backyard rinks to big arenas under bright lights, electricity powers every moment. At Capital Power, we generate reliable, affordable electricity for OilCountry and beyond, powering innovation, opportunity, and thriving economies across North America. Just like our Edmonton Oilers, we're driven, determined, and lighting up the game. We're powering change by changing power. Get to know us at capitalpower.com.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. Big skies, rugged landscapes. Now that's Alberta in a nutshell. And if you're looking for an SUV that can keep up with this place, check out the Ford Bronco. Built for those who crave adventure, with serious off-road capability and style to spare. Whether you're hitting the mountain trails or exploring the back roads, it's the perfect ride for those who want to experience everything this province has to offer. The Ford Bronco. Adventure awaits at your Alberta Ford dealer. And tell them PB sent you.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
2-1 Edmonton, 1:35 to play in the second period. A faceoff coming to the right of Calvin Pickard, who has 15 saves tonight. Won 22 games a year ago in the regular season, and then went 7-1 in the playoffs. Off the draw, Quinn Hughes. Operating up top for Vancouver against Savoy. High slot, Pedersen. Philip Roenick, top of the right circle. Adam Henrique shadowing tightly. A shot, not much on it from Pedersen. Easy save for Pickard. Rebound around the boards. Adam Henrique swarmed under by Roenick. Down to Pickard, working with new goaltending coach Peter Aubry. Wants Pickard's feet a little bit more set on certain plays. Doesn't want to take away his explosiveness and natural feel for angles. He's got him an old school goaltender that way. But just wants Pickard's feet perhaps a little quieter at times. Inside a minute to go. Pedersen will send it in deep. Ekholm challenging. Connor Garland coming out of the corner. Dishing off, Tyler Myers. Tried to curl it in front. Darnell Nurse was having none of that. Garland with support. Tried to nudge it out in front. Broken up, advanced through to McDavid. Ahead for Leon Draisaitl. Cross line. Rich shot denied. A save made on Frederick and a rebound covered as well. Trent Frederick with not only the initial shot, but he also got a look and a whack at a rebound. Couldn't put it home. Final 10 seconds. Second period, McDavid to Frederick with Edmonton leading 2-1, stapled by Hedel, and that will be all for period number 2. The Oilers go to the final 20 minutes of the preseason with a 2-1 lead.
Yep, great opportunity for Frederick. You know, he did score 17 and 18 goals. Kind of tried to shoot it in one motion. Maybe puck was rolling a little bit. It's the end of the period. If that's the start of the period, does he pick it up cleaner? You give Dempo credit for sliding across, making a save, but you got to elevate the puck if you're Trent Frederick there.
Lekkermacki in the first for Vancouver. Kapanen and Draisaitl with goals 3 minutes apart in the second period. Draisaitl's coming on the power play for McDavid and Bouchard, and that's put Edmonton in front 2-1 with 20 minutes to play in the preseason. Coming up, our colleague Louis DeBrusque will join Bob Stauffer. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th.
Oh, got it.
Restrictions apply. Book your...
This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Instead, it's given to Bouchard. His shot flailed helplessly as Draisaitl. 2 goals and 2 assists.
That's our Highlight Zone, brought to you by Century Casinos. All in, all games, all season. Century Casinos with 3 great locations. And welcome to Intermissions here. We've got Brendan Escott. We've got Louis DeBrusque for a change here. And Louis is live taking in this game down at Rogers Arena. Lou, appreciate you jumping aboard, man. What do you think so far through 40 minutes? A much more entertaining second period, I would suggest, from an Edmonton perspective.
I would agree. I think the fastest game we've seen so far in the preseason from my standards, just watching them go back and forth, 2 teams that know each other very well. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's nice to have the headset back on and be chatting again. And no, I thought it was pretty good. I think it's pretty tight checking. I think the speed has created some turnovers in places that have made it interesting. And it's nice to see a depth goal by Edmonton. And, starting Draisaitl and McDavid together on a line, you have to have that production down the lineup. You have to have lines going. And it was a nice shot by Kapanen, set up by Tomashik down the rush. And I think that line kind of got things going. And the power play finished it off for a 2-1 lead in the second period as the big guys were out there and got it done. So just good stay with it. And I think the penalty drawn too, when you look from behind the net, Noah Philp with Henrique and Savoy, another line again, just digging around the net. Savoy had a great chance in front, and it was saved. It was a good save in tight by Thatcher Demko. But you know what? Those are the types of shifts you like to see. You build on that shift, you draw a penalty, the big guys come out, and they score a power play goal. But back and forth by both sides having their chances.
Yeah, well said there. I wonder what you think of David Tomashik, who's got the assist there set up. Kasperi Kapanen beautifully. Still trying to find exactly where he's going to fit in on this team, but you can tell, obviously, with that first unit power play utilization, that he's been doing things to earn the coaching staff's trust.
What I like about him is he plays a sound, solid game, and that's first and foremost. When you're new to the National Hockey League, and you hear coaches talk about it all the time, it's about getting up to pace, number one, but then it's about not hurting the team with your play, making good, sound judgment plays with the puck, using that size to his effectiveness. He's a right-handed shot, and he loves to shoot it, and that's something we haven't seen a whole lot yet, but just look him up on the highlight reel. You'll see what he did over in Sweden. He was a guy that really blasted the puck. He loves to shoot. He's a right-handed shot, and he has a great one-timer. He'll eventually start to release that, I think, a little bit more once he gets confidence. But his positional play right now for me is solid. He's strong on pucks. He understands the defensive side of the game, and they're trying him in that middle hole right now, which is not an easy position to jump into the NHL, but he's done it effectively. He can play both wings. He can play center. So a versatile player, and I think that he's really showed well here. But it's the poise. It's the poise that he's playing with. He doesn't look like a guy that's really come over here for his first real stint. He looks like a guy that's been around for a while, and I think he's sponging things up. So the coaching staff has liked what he's done, and you're seeing a little bit of it here in this game too. Down the lineup, when you have players like that trying to push, that's where you're hoping that they swayed in your favor as far as a matchup is concerned.
And while we have you here, just a quick thought on the coaching contract extension for Chris Knobloch.
I think it's great. You know what? Listen, he's worked very hard to get himself to the National Hockey League. I think just like players, and we don't talk about this enough, but when a coach gets his opportunity to be a head coach in the National Hockey League, it's not just about getting that one-hit wonder and a chance. It's about solidifying your position, doing enough to make them understand that you're good and you're going to move forward. And, you know, for Chris, he's worked hard to get himself to this spot in the National Hockey League. 2 Stanley Cup finals, yes, 2 losses, but I think it was a great extension by the Oilers, and they have a really great young coach, young in as far as experience in the NHL, that's ready for this opportunity. And a little extra step in his stride today, I think, in the morning skate, rightfully so. It's a long haul to get there, no matter what aspect you're talking about to get to the National Hockey League. For head coaching, it's a volatile position. And to get an extension, I think, especially that first extension, it's really, really important. So congratulations to him.
Any thoughts on Jake through 40 minutes?
Hey, you know what? I think their line's done some good things. I think they've been matched up against McDavid's line quite a bit in this game. Not every shift. I know that Adam Foote has kind of switched that up a little bit here and there, but for the most part, they're going head-to-head with that line. And I think when you're up against the McDavid line, especially with Draisaitl and Big Trent Frederick, you're really just trying not to get scored on. Maybe a little too much, I would say. That would be my one critique, is when you're just thinking defense, you're not really forcing them to play defense by being on the offense. I think that's something they could adjust. Hold on to pucks a little more, get going the other way, a little north and south, a little quicker, but it's easier said than done when you're trying to go up against the best, and at any time they could put the Jets on. We saw Draisaitl log that puck down the ice one time. McDavid's starting to get his feet going. You never know when he's going to turn those Jets on, so you have to be absolutely aware every time they're on the ice, and I think that's what they're trying to do, and so far they haven't been dashed in that regard, but that is the top line for Vancouver, so they're going to have to provide some more scoring opportunities in the opposite end.
Love it, Louis. Thank you so much. Have a blast this season, and we'll see you around the rink, okay?
Sounds good, bud.
All right, that's Louis DeBrusque there. We do have Rob Brown standing by. Just a quick thought from you, Rob, on I guess Edmonton through 40 minutes, particularly in that second frame. I think we got a good look at what this top line can do.
Well, the line had been quiet most of the night. They get their power play goal, which you expect, as it's the best power play in the National Hockey League. And then they created a chance off a turnover. And Frederick would love to have that one back again. Obviously, he fanned on the shot. Wonderful play by Connor DeLeon. Got the exact play that they wanted. Demko is good. You got to hit your spot. And Frederick fanned on it a little bit. But the Oilers got a little bit better in that second period as the period moved on. Now we'll see come third period just which team has a little bit extra jump in a game that means nothing, but it's the last warm-up test before the real ones start.
Shots on goal reading 17-16 for the Oilers. The scorer 2-1 for the Oilers. We'll get back with the out-of-town scoreboard. This is At the Intermission. Your Ford dealers NHL hockey is on the Oilers Radio Network.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $29.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
Steelhaus Triton, 2 legendary oilfield services brands, 1 powerful partnership. Rooted in innovation, reliability, and a steadfast commitment to excellence, Steelhaus is proudly 100% Canadian-owned and locally manufactured. With over 15 field service locations across the prairies and up to the Rockies, they deliver world-class energy solutions with unmatched responsiveness, helping their customers thrive in the most demanding environments. Steelhaus Triton, engineered for performance, built in Canada. Visit steelhausinc.com for more information.
Drivers seeking power, performance, and unbeatable value don't need to look any further than Freedom Ford. From the legendary F-150 to the rugged Bronco, the versatile Bronco Sport, and full lineup of SUVs built for every adventure, there's a perfect ride for every driver and every lifestyle. With financing rates starting at just 0%, hitting the road has never been easier or more affordable. Visit Freedom Ford on 75th Street in Edmonton and experience the thrill of driving your dream vehicle today.
With Global News, I'm Thomas Dias. Schools and parents across Alberta are gearing up for a province-wide teacher strike set for Monday. The two sides remain far apart, but the union says they have resumed exploratory conversations. Meanwhile, the government has readied an online home curriculum for students and is offering financial supports for some parents. A former Alberta politician trying to make it official policy for the province to stay in the country says his campaign is zeroing in on its goal. Thomas Lukaszik's Forever Canadian petition, with the help of some 5,000 canvassers collecting names, has now gathered 230,000 signatures. That's some 64,000 shy of the roughly 294,000 needed before the end of October to trigger a referendum. And in international news, U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered Israel to stop bombing Gaza now that Hamas has said it is willing to free the remaining hostages being held in the enclave. Hamas says it is willing to accept some aspects of Trump's peace proposal, but it says further talks are needed. This with its statement leaving out Israel's key demand, disarmament. News on demand at 880ched.com.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $29.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
Pizza 73, the official pizza of your Edmonton Oilers. Loyal to the oil, in Edmonton we trust. Rising to the top like a pizza crust. Got the flavors to play, yeah. Cooking on ice. Hunger happens, gotta score a slice. Let's go Oilers, each time unite. Ice District to Jasper, downtown to White. Wearing orange and blue, game on the street. Make the right call, Pizza 73. Let's go Oilers. 737373, Pizza 73.
Businesses deserve the best protection against cyber threats. Alltech offers state-of-the-art IT and cybersecurity solutions to safeguard digital assets. The team of experts at Alltech are dedicated to providing the highest level of security, ensuring that data remains safe and operations are seamless. With Alltech, businesses can focus on growth while the rest is handled. From advanced threat detection to comprehensive data security, Alltech has it covered. Choose Alltech for reliable and effective cybersecurity. Visit alt-tech.ca now to learn more.
This is At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
Time now for the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Lots of NHL action going on. The Flames and Jets are in a shootout right now down at the Saddle Dome. They are tied at 4 after regulation and overtime. You got the Golden Knights down 2 to the Sharks, and 2 finals. The Penguins beating Buffalo. I think that goal came about 9 seconds into overtime. Sidney Crosby scoring in overtime. Yes, it was 9 seconds in. There you go. And the Minnesota Wilds beating the Chicago Blackhawks 3-2. Goals by Frank Nazar and Nick Foligno, as well as who else got one for the Blackhawks? No, they didn't. Vlad Tarasenko, Joel Eriksson, Ryan Hartman. There's your 3 goal scorers for Minnesota. As far as the Oil Kings go, 5-1, the final in Moose Jaw. They were victorious. 3 first-period goals, 2 in the second. That's all they needed. Ethan Simcoe getting the first star of the game honors. He's their goaltender. And we are currently with our eyes on Gavin McKenna for the first time. Yeah, we're watching him represent Penn State. The Nittany Lions are in Arizona State right now at Mullet Arena, taking on the Sun Devils. This one is, I think, in the second intermission. 3-2 is the score for Arizona State. But McKenna's assisted on the first 2 goals of the Penn State season. So I think he's going to be pretty darn good there. What do you think? That's an easy one. An easy one for us to pick up on. Here again in, I say here, the game in Vancouver is 2-1 after 40 minutes. The shot 17-16 for the Oilers. No, they've dropped it down by 1, tied at 16 in the shot department. 2-1 the score. That is the in-town scoreboard, if you will. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Right now we are at the intermission. Got third period action coming up right around the corner. It's Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer on the play-by-play. We'll be back, myself and Rob Brown, with Oilers Overtime. So don't you touch that dial. This is At the Intermission. Your Ford Dealers NHL Hockey is on the Oilers Radio Network.
You've been listening to At the Intermission on the Oilers Radio Network.
When was the last time your electricity and natural gas provider made you feel like this? Low rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back with Encore by Epcor. Find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Experience the exciting casino action at 3 Century Casino locations. Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Dine at one of their amazing restaurants featuring daily specials. Take in the ultimate game day experience at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge. Check out the best in live entertainment at any amazing location. Plus, enjoy a great selection of casino gaming options and off-track betting. Feel the thrill of live horse racing at Century Mile Racetrack. Don't miss a second of the action at Century Casino.
When the Oilers are on the ice, the big hits are a part of the game. But they shouldn't be a part of your drive. If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown & Associates and their over 200 years of combined injury law experience help you. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown & Associates is ready to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Looking for the ultimate dinner and show experience? Look no further than Edmonton's famous Mayfield Dinner Theater, where you'll enjoy world-class productions and delectable dining in a new renovated theater. Whether it's date night, a work party, a celebration, or a spontaneous night out with friends, your experience at the Mayfield Dinner Theater is sure to be a memorable one. The 2025-2026 season is on sale now, so check out the exciting lineup of shows and get your tickets today at mayfieldtheater.ca.
Now more than ever, it's time to shop Canadian. Support your local businesses that create jobs and invest in our communities. Brought to you by Proudly Canadian 880 Chad.
All games, all season.
You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
2-1 hockey game in favor of the Edmonton Oilers as we go to the third period, the final period of the NHL preseason for both clubs. Edmonton coming in at 4-2-1, having outshot Seattle 34-17 Wednesday night, but falling behind 3-0 thanks to some inefficient special teams. Tonight, it's the special teams that has put Edmonton ahead. A power play goal by Leon Draisaitl with 3:20 left in the second period. The difference right now as we begin the third with Nugent Hopkins alongside Podkolzin and Mangiapane, Nurse and Stetcher, and Calvin Pickard, who stopped 15 of 16 shots through 2 periods in net. Edmonton and Vancouver have split 32 shots evenly as the Oilers outshot the Canucks 9-6 in the second, where they turned a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead. Kapanen had tied it off a setup from David Tomashik. Bouchard and McDavid with the assists on the power play goal, and here we go. Final period of the preseason. Jack and Bob, live from your Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Nugent Hopkins wins the faceoff, and we're underway in the third period, and Nurse starts it with a shot from the blue line. That's handled flawlessly by Thatcher Demko. Again, both teams will open the season against Calgary. Edmonton, for the 35th time in 46 years, opening the season at home. They'll take on the Flames. It's an 8 o'clock starting time on Wednesday. Cam and Bob will have the call. Vancouver plays Calgary on Thursday, and then, as if they were at a tournament somewhere in Alberta, Edmonton will play Vancouver on Saturday. Here's a wide-open Mangiapane set up from Podkolzin, but as he dragged it to his forehand, he could not get a shot away, and give Marcus Pettersson credit for reeling Mangiapane in and preventing him from extending the lead. Nurse, a slap shot off the rush from inside the blue line, and Demko likewise a solid save to keep the score 2-1 in favor of Edmonton.
All right, Jack, so here's the deal. Tonight and tomorrow night are the last 2 days of the Canadian Finals rodeo at Rogers Place, and then the staff at Rogers Place goes overtime to clean the building up over and over again all day Sunday. A lot of the staff get Monday off, so it's going to limit the amount of events at Rogers Place on Monday. Some stuff needed to be pushed to Tuesday as a result, but they're going to go out of their way because that CFR, as you know, is very popular, but there is a distinct odor left in the building.
Jake DeBrusk trying to work his way around Bouchard and did, able to one-hand it into the waiting glove of Calvin Pickard. DeBrusk coming off his fourth 25-goal campaign last year, scored a career-high 28.
I know there were people saying, well, I hear there's an event that was canceled on Monday. It has in part to do, which is not to say that there might not be a signing between now and then, but it has more to do with the available staff because they're going to be working overtime over the last 4 days and then going into Sunday as well.
Pedersen won the face-off, but Hughes' shot was smothered, and here comes McDavid away with a rebound. Hits Ekholm the trailer, and he had his stick lifted just as he was set to release a high percentage chance. Quinn Hughes has the puck taken from him by Draisaitl. Bouchard, one-timer McDavid from a sharp angle. That looked like the reverse of what it usually is, with McDavid taking a one-timer from a spot that Draisaitl usually occupies. In fact, that's been his home office on the power play for several years.
This line has completely taken over the game in about the last 8 minutes. Last 6 minutes of the second and first 2 minutes here in the third.
Quinn Hughes gains the line for Vancouver right to left. Canucks trail 2-1. Hughes turns it over. Savoy off a steal, looking left side, and he's got Adam Henrique heading to the net. Philp can't get there. Vilander bumped the puck away. Philp could not contain down low beneath the goal line. Hughes muscled up on by Savoy. Philp continues to work. Adam Henrique close by. 2 minutes gone, third period. Oilers lead it 2-1. Edmonton 24-17-4 in season openers over the course of its history. Kulak takes a shot from distance left point and a routine save made by Thatcher Demko.
A little bit more north and south here from Edmonton to start this period. And one guy with a great take on a shot on a one-timer was Kasperi Kapanen, and tie this game 1-1.
Tomashik lining up with Kapanen and Howard as his wingers. Now, you grew up in Alberta, Bob. Never really tried your hand at rodeo, I'm guessing there?
No.
Not in your skill set?
No.
Stetcher and Nurse trading the puck off the draw.
Acreage kids, not a farm kid.
Here's Nurse gaining the line. Wrist shot off the rush. A save made by Thatcher Demko. 2.5 gone by third period.
The farm kids,
2-1 our score.
The farm kids knew how to throw things around. They were the better wrestlers. So you had to, if you know what I'm saying, you had to have quicker hands. But I respect what those guys do. Obviously, it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes what happens to the animals. Though some people might, I know in the case of thoroughbred racing that those animals get treated very well. Horses get treated well.
You should all be treated so well. I'll tell you a racehorse that didn't get treated that well, and that was the one in The Godfather. Chipped up the left-hand side. Vilander did not get it out. A centering pass for Tomashik. Howard threw it into the slot for Kapanen from distance. Nurse has it guided aside by Demko. Shoveled up the right-hand boards by Elias Pettersson.
Now, do you think that was a real horse head back then?
Here's Drew O'Connor. Takes it behind the net, curls out in front, and whistles a shot over the left shoulder of Calvin Pickard, who made the save. Sherwood Gets it back. Fires and had it blocked. A painful one by Tomashik. O'Connor to the corner. Myers another shot. A save made by Pickard. And this time Tomashik makes certain of a clear back to center. Marcus Pedersen gets it back and slams it back in. 17% of Vancouver's roster named Pedersen tonight. Myers will give it up. Here's a dish to Evander Kane. Pretty good look, but Kane did not handle that pass cleanly as it came from Lekramaki. No spinning around the boards for Myers. Put it behind the net. Coots able to create space. Lekramaki, a one-timer off balance. Coots unable to redirect it home. Flipped off the side of the net. Got it back for Myers. Marcus Pedersen, his shot deflected. Right to Coots. Through one man. Left corner, he'll drop it off for Kane. Playing in his hometown, of course. Kane won a Memorial Cup with the Vancouver Giants.
That was a tough team. He was a young guy then, but they had this guy named Lucic. He had a shift in one of the games in that tournament. It's called the shift.
Kane was a young guy his first year in the National Hockey League too, but didn't prevent him from taking out Matt Cook. Here's Draisaitl off to McDavid backdoor, and a great play by Pedersen to break it up intended for Mangiapane. Good read by Bouchard. The steal, the dish. Mangiapane back to Duchard. He ripped it off the goalpost. Evan Bouchard absolutely hammered that one off the post after making the steal. Got it back from McDavid. No. Taken away by Jake DeBrusk. Elias Pettersson doesn't have enough. DeBrusk takes Draisaitl to the hole and has drawn a penalty. A hole. 5 1/4 gone by in the third period. Bouchard missing a potential 3-1 goal by an eyelash, and it wasn't the hold on Draisaitl. It was up ice. Ekholm picked off his man, and he's called for the penalty.
Oilers had about 4 chances to score already this period.
Well, Bouchard made a great play to make the steal. Draisaitl avoided taking a penalty on DeBrusk, but up ice in the high slot. Ekholm had taken out a man, and boy, Bouchard did not miss by much.
Postage.
Bouchard assisted on the go-ahead goal, and now Vancouver will try to tie it with its second power play of the night. 5 1/4 gone by, third period. Ekholm in the box.
It is preseason, and I know it's the last preseason game. Noah Philp cannot complain about the opportunity that he's been given tonight. Back out on this PK. He was 2 and 5 on faceoffs through 2 periods. Won that one.
Off the draw. Here's Hedl. Swung it up top for Philip Roenick. Kapanen and Kulak challenging on the left side. Hughes feeds Roenick. Kulak in the lane. Hughes again to Roenick, a one-timer and a save made by Pickard. It made it look routine and allowed Noah Philp a clear down the middle. Emberson and Kulak will change along with Philp and Kapanen, and now the Napa Auto Parts penalty kill looks like this. Nugent Hopkins, Mangiapane, Nurse, and Bouchard walking in. One-timer ripped home. Lekramaki ties it with his second of the game. He can shoot the puck, and he made no mistake that time. From, again, the left circle, Canucks were able to free him up. And though Pickard got a piece, he could not prevent the goal.
You just got to give him credit for making a real good play. Straight to look, and Kelvin Pickard couldn't get across.
Garland and Hughes with the helpers. And the tying goal credited at 5:58 of this third period. And you spotted it early in the first game between these two clubs. Lekramaki can really let her fly.
Yep. Like if they hit on Lekramaki and Coots, a couple 15th overall picks, and those guys are top 6 forwards for you in the future, and people say you're getting ahead of yourself, I don't necessarily think so. Lekramaki looks like he could finish.
2-2 our score. Here's Leon Draisaitl on the ice with McDavid and Frederick 5-on-5. McDavid backs his way in, and I think we're going to have an offside whistled against Edmonton. Hard to hear the whistle with the deafening noise, especially for a preseason game. Impressive from Rogers Arena faithful. Vancouver 2, Edmonton 2. Lekramaki, second of the night, ties it on a Canuck power play. We'll be back with more third period action. It's Four Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
If you ever find yourself needing collision repair, CarStar is here to help make accidents unhappen. Any make, any model. That said, there are some accidents CarStar can't make unhappen, such as accidentally waking a hibernating bear, accidentally biting into a raw habanero pepper, accidentally throwing a frisbee at a beehive. CarStar, Canada's trusted collision repair expert, is here to make car accidents unhappen. For a location near you, visit carstar.ca.
Do you have tickets to an upcoming event at Rogers Place that you can't attend? Donate your tickets to the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation Seats for Kids program, presented by Eagle Builders. Seats for Kids provides unused game tickets for charities, allowing children and families to enjoy hockey at Rogers Place. And for many, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. To be a part of the Seats for Kids program presented by Eagle Builders, please email edmonton@kidsupfront.com. That's edmonton@kidsupfront.com.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
So we've got a 2-2 game. The Oilers off a neutral zone draw. A little dish from McDavid to Bouchard, but his shot blocked. Sent around the boards. Ekholm screening for Draisaitl, whose shot flutters wide from the left half boards. Bouchard to Frederick from distance, and that's a painful block shot for Elias Pettersson. He'll try to skate this one off. Meanwhile, the dangerous McDavid, top of the right circle. Feathers one up to Bouchard. Spin move on Besser. Myers denied a centering pass, but not this cross-seamer to McDavid, who tried to slip it through a troika of Canucks and could not do it. Myers will clear for Vancouver. Besser tried to pitchfork it in. It's batted out of midair by DeBrusque. He's checked by Evan Bouchard. 12:50 to play in regulation. The game is tied at 2. Draisaitl and Kapanen with the goals for Edmonton. Lekramaki has both for Vancouver. Each team has a power play goal and 2 tries. Bouchard. Right wing, Emberson to Adam Henrique. Turned it over at the Vancouver line. Flipped back in by Sherwood. Kulak. Hammered by Bluger. Do you have Vancouver as a bubble team, Bob? Somewhere between 7 and 10 in the Western Conference?
Yes, I do.
Is Calgary in that category as well for you?
That was a high stick. Broke that right in the face.
Here's Hughes. Wrist shot. Fought off by Pickard from the top of the left circle. Rebound back to Hughes as Vancouver operating in the attack zone. Hughes putting the brakes on him and fanning on a one-timer Vilander. Centering pass Sherwood. Didn't handle it cleanly from O'Connor, and now Savoy has a step. Racing in from the left side to the net. Denied by Demko, and then when he tried to bank it off the Vancouver goaltender, he was foiled in that endeavor. Wow. Savoy blazing speed down the left side.
Well, he was the fastest skater last year at the HL Skills Competition. He can wheel.
Here's Hughes off to Philip Roenick. Stetcher jabbing at that puck to create for Ike Howard. Tomashik, who set up Kapanen for the Oilers' first goal. Howard coming off the boards from Kapanen. Spinning and centering off to Kapanen. Backdoor play, and Tomashik could not come up with it. And Vancouver a bit scatterbrained in its own zone. We'll see Roenick get away with an icing call up the right-hand side. That's a preseason non-icing right there. Here's Stetcher with 11 minutes on the game clock and the game tied at 2. Darnell Nurse, wrist one down deep. Tomashik, belted by Elias Pettersson. Kapanen had it stripped. And a soft chip set by Lekkerimäki into the corner. Bouchard, left-hand side for Ekholm. And he's going to back off with both teams making wholesale changes in personnel. Oilers have outshot the Canucks 24-20 tonight. They are tied at 2. Bouchard to Ekholm off the tip of his stick, handled by Demko. Marcus Pettersson wheels one up to Baines, who took his eye off it. He was worried about Bouchard and lost the handle, and then Bouchard looked like he was hooked. Twice. And no penalty was called. Then Bouchard might have gotten away with a high stick on Hedel. Two players might have traded penalties on one another right there. Here's Podkolzin against Marcus Pettersson. Nugent Hopkins steps into the offensive zone, and he'll engage in the corner. Coming out of it against Myers. Emerson turned it over, tried to go lateral with it, and Garland picked it off. Connor Garland is centering pass. Quick shot off the post from Baines. So earlier in the period, Bouchard hit goal post. Now it's Arshdeep Baines, who had a mammoth season with the Red Deer Rebels as a 20-year-old. Garland, he was belted by Mangiapane. He's shaken up. Connor Garland did not like that hit.
Yeah, that's going to be a penalty.
He got absolutely drilled.
He knows how to draw. He's a greasy player, good player for them.
9:17 to go, third period. We'll come back with a Vancouver power play. Canucks will be looking to regain the lead. It's 2-2 in the third, with 9:17 left in the preseason. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. You know, Alberta's a special place. From the Rockies to the Plains, it's a land of hard work and big dreams. If you're going to tackle it all, you need a truck that can keep up. That's why I can't say enough about my Ford F-150. It's more than a truck. It's a partner. Rugged toughness, serious capability, and smart features that make your life easier, like available Pro Power onboard. The Ford F-150. Get yours today at your Alberta Ford dealer, and tell them PB sent you.
Over the last decade, the world of work has changed dramatically. It's a change that can cause a disconnect between a company and its employees. But a partnership with Aon can help by making decisions that create a more flexible, engaged, and resilient workforce. Aon's experience and expertise, global understanding, and advanced analytics ensure that every client is better informed and better advised so that they can make better decisions. Whatever the next decade brings, Aon is in the business of better decisions.
Steelhaus Triton, two legendary oilfield services brands, one powerful partnership. Rooted in innovation, reliability, and a steadfast commitment to excellence, Steelhaus is proudly 100% Canadian-owned and locally manufactured. With over 15 field service locations across the prairies and up to the Rockies, they deliver world-class energy solutions with unmatched responsiveness, helping their customers thrive in the most demanding environments. Steelhaus Triton, engineered for performance, built in Canada. Visit steelhausinc.com for more information.
All games, all season.
You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
We'll see.
2-2 our score. Mangiapane in the box with 9:17 to go in the third period. The call is roughing. Did he follow through? Because at live speed, I didn't see much there.
Well, yeah. And the Oilers have got their big guns on the ice here to start the PK.
You think that was a good call?
It was a penalty.
Draisaitl against Elias Pettersson.
But Garland knows how to draw them, too. Garland's a very effective player. I wonder if
you've got Draisaitl and McDavid on the PK again here. Napa Auto Parts off the draw. Quinn Hughes wheeling up top, high slot. Another penalty coming against Edmonton. I'm sure the Canucks recognize it. Hughes slammed it off the stick of McDavid, and now we'll have the call for roughing. And it's Leon Draisaitl.
Leon lost the draw. And then Pettersson picked him off, so Leon ripped off the lid. That's an automatic penalty.
That's an automatic penalty. They changed that rule. Well, they added that rule 2 years ago.
As As long as his head isn't in that helmet as it goes off, I think everything's okay. All's fair in love and war.
Draisaitl wouldn't be trying to ensure there's no overtime in the preseason, would he? 2-2, 9:03 to go in the third period. Minute 46 of 5-on-3 power play time for Vancouver.
Wasn't there a story about Mickey Klutz in the Bronx Zoo, the book The Bronx Zoo, about that? About the game between the Mets and the Yankees. It was like an exhibition game, and they were mad because Mickey Klutz made this ridiculous play. They tried to fire the ball over he's playing first base, tried to airmail it so that they'd scored an error.
I don't know that one.
You can look it up.
Pedersen off the draw. You've got Quinn Hughes. Peering inside. Instead, dishing up top for Pedersen. Little give and go behind.
This is the European.
Calvin Pickard, yeah. Two men beneath the goal line. It's DeBrusk and Besser. Now up top for Hughes. Pedersen can one-time it. Slings it back for Hughes. Wrist shot deflected. Rebound, Besser. And a man was tripped up. And it was Ty Emberson heading for the puck. And he was hacked down by Evander Kane. So that will negate one of the penalties, and it'll be 4-on-3. And Evander Kane knew it as soon as Emberson went down. Got his stick right in the skates. A no-doubter.
Well, the other thing it does is they're still on the 4-on-3, but now they got a D-zone draw.
And at the back end of this, Edmonton will have a 40-second power play. Evander Kane last year did not play in the regular season. 6 goals, 12 points in the 21 playoff games for the Oilers.
Relatively productive. The problem was anytime he touched anybody in the final, they were calling him.
Timeout on the ice. Vancouver will take it as Adam Foote wants to run down the various scenarios that are going to be at play here. First 4-on-3, then 4-on-4, and then 5-on-4 for Edmonton. You're going to see all of that in the next 100 seconds.
Well, in a perfect world, yes, you would see that in the next 100 seconds.
Obviously, things would change if Vancouver's able to bang one in here 4-on-3. The Oilers will send out Henrique with Ekholm and Bouchard. Vancouver counters with Pedersen, Besser, DeBrusk, and Hughes. Off the face-off, won by Henrique. Spun down low, and Hughes takes possession for Vancouver. Here come the Canucks right to left. Elias Pettersson. Change of pace on Bouchard. Fools no one. DeBrusk coming off the right half boards. Tough pass. Hughes will pick it up at the red line. Bring it back in for Vancouver. Scott DeBrusk is a sidecar. Instead, backhands it out to Besser in the high slot. Now Hughes, top of the left circle. Over to Pedersen. Peers inside. Hughes. One-timer. Besser save made. Rebound stopped by Pickard at the expense of DeBrusk, and Henrique clears length of the ice. 30 seconds left in the 4-on-3. Game tied at 2. 7:45 remaining in regulation. Brock Besser into the attack zone. Hughes gives it back to Pedersen. Now receives a pass in the high slot. Whiffed initially. Trying to go cross seam for Pedersen. DeBrusk right between the hashes. Instead, it's down low to Besser. Hughes up top. 8 seconds left in the penalty to Mangiapane. Pedersen shoots high and wide, glove side, and now Mangiapane prepares to come out. Hughes, Pedersen, one-timer. Besser sprawling right pad save made by Pickard. And now Edmonton's even at 4-on-4 and set to go on a power play in 5 seconds. Nugent-Hopkins to Nurse. Mangiapane carries in. Nugent-Hopkins waits. Saucered across, and Mangiapane wasn't ready for it. Hughes will bring it out of the zone and then wisely kicked it back to Roenick, recognizing Draisaitl was on the ice. The problem was the hard rim should have been stopped by McDavid. It got through him, however, and Connor Connor Garland was able to dump it down low, and that'll pretty much melt the remaining power play time for Edmonton. Oilers are not going to get a look on the man advantage as Evander Kane comes out of the box. Here's McDavid in across the line. Poked free in the high slot. Blueger with a clear. 6.5 minutes remaining. No bloodshed on either side on that power play sequence. Garland will dump it in for the Canucks. Pickard to Bouchard. Swiftly ahead to Draisaitl from McDavid. Now he's got it back. Gets around Coots. Tried to send it across to Draisaitl. Lekarmaki got his stick on it. Boy, Lekarmaki's had a great game tonight. Scored both Vancouver goals, and now Draisaitl shielded from a puck, allowing Demko to fall on it with 6:02 left in the hockey game. And we are still tied at 2 with Lekarmaki having tallied twice for the Canucks. Kapanen and Draisaitl in the second period for Edmonton. I thought Nugent-Hopkins, when I looked at it again, that pass a bit too high for Mangiapane as it was tipped. And it got it a little bit airborne. It was some kind of play to just get that through. But a tougher chance than I realized for Mangiapane. Good play by Besser to get a stick on it. Tomashik. Won a face-off, put Colson, a quick shot blocked. I think the larger point is, Bob, when you're a newcomer to the Oilers, you got to realize you got 4 or 5 world-class players that are going to somehow find a way to get you a puck that you probably didn't get on other teams. Is that fair? Yep. Keeper Sherwood did not get it out. Roenick will move it for Elias Pettersson, center ice Blueger. And these high-end players don't necessarily want it back. Guys like McDavid and Draisaitl want you to finish.
Don't defer too much.
That's right. Use.
Unless you're talking about a contract extension to get the cap down, at least until October the 6th.
Chipped in by Braden Coots. Pickard got a healthy piece of Coots as he tried to dash back behind the net to retrieve the puck. Kapanen got his stick in tight on Hughes to free it up for Phil, but a centering pass broken up by Coots in the right spot there. From distance, Darnell Nurse denied by Demko, and now Stetcher crowded by Lekarmaki as we go inside 5 minutes to play in the third. Stetcher chiseled it out of the corner, but Evander Kane was there to race it through the middle. And now he'll weave his way to the right-hand side before trying to center. That was denied by Nurse, and Henrique will send it off the glass back to center. Across to Pettersson from Myers. He'll bang it in deep. Filipino against Stetcher and Nurse. And the Oiler defenders win that battle. McDavid nearly gave it away to Hedl. Didn't manage to muscle it back through the neutral zone. And it's a reset for the Canucks. Wristed down deep by Pettersson off the glass. Draisaitl had his pocket picked to the net. Backhander denied. Pickard stopped Garland, who rolled to the middle when that puck came free. Garland from Myers, a weak shot from a sharp angle. Easily stopped by Pickard, and then Garland's centering pass deflected all the way out to the Vancouver blue line as we go inside 4 minutes to play in regulation. Game tied at 2. Here's Garland. Denied by McDavid at the blue line, and now McDavid sensing he had something, but Myers in that 6'8" frame got in his way. Puck trickles back through the neutral zone. Ekholm will start it again. Draisaitl with McDavid on his left. Double teamed on the half wall. Breaks that double team. Sets up Emerson for a shot into the midsection of Thatcher Demko, and will take timeout with 3:24 to play in the third period. Perhaps the preseason finale destined for overtime. We are deadlocked at 2. Rogers Arena, Vancouver, with Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
It's a new era for Ford in Edmonton. Welcome to Big West Ford. Located westbound on Stony Plain Road, just east of the Henday. Big West Ford is Edmonton's newest and most exciting Ford dealership. Whether you're after the legendary F-150, the powerhouse 350 Super Duty, or the adventurous Bronco, they've got you covered with exceptional selection and service right here in your city. Big West Ford, driven by you. Visit Big West Ford at 18208 Stony Plain Road or online at bigwestford.com.
The same AI-powered technology that helps Oilers fans move through security efficiently at Rogers Place is also available for Edmonton area schools, hospitals, and workplaces. Evolve Technology, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers and official security screening partner of Rogers Place, helps identify potential threats and create safe experiences at hockey games and wherever people gather. Visit Rogers Place to experience Evolve live or check out evolve.com for more information. That's evolv.com. Businesses deserve the best protection against cyber threats. Alltech offers state-of-the-art IT and cybersecurity solutions to safeguard digital assets. The team of experts at Alltech are dedicated to providing the highest level of security, ensuring that data remains safe and operations are seamless. With Alltech, businesses can focus on growth while the rest is handled. From advanced threat detection to comprehensive data security, Alltech has it covered. Choose Alltech for reliable and effective cybersecurity. Visit alt-tech.ca now to learn more.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
3 minutes, 24 seconds to play third period. We are tied at 2. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you. Rogers Arena, Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Cam and Bob will have the regular season opener for you on Wednesday night. Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, season number 46 in the NHL for the Oilers. Off the draw, Quinn Hughes will put one up the left-hand boards. Kulak trying to hold sway against Drew O'Connor. Forced it loose for Kiefer Sherwood, and now you've got Bluger around the boards for Philip Roenick. Centering pass sticked aside by Pickard. Hughes from Sherwood. Roenick, a drive and a save made by Pickard, and that might have grazed the outside of the goalpost, Bob. O'Connor in a dogfight with Kulak. 2:50 to play in the third. And a rink-wide pass intended for Hughes going to be intercepted by Mangiapane. He'll chip in charge. Roenick able to corral in the corner. Lay it off the glass, but Colson knocked away by Sherwood.
It's 2 games for Vancouver. There's a game when they've got Hughes on the ice, and then there's the game when they don't have Hughes on the ice.
Absolutely. He is, quite frankly, he's been better than I thought he was going to be. He is a better defender than I ever. He just can skate out of traffic, out of trouble.
It's the composure with the lateral movement.
And then the edge work is unreal. Capping up the right-hand side. Phenomenal player. And again, if it weren't for Cale Makar, I think you'd probably call him the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. Up the right-hand side, Archdeep Baines. Elias Pettersson working his way in and shooting high and wide. That kicked off the glass. Pettersson down low. Baines. Little spin move on Stetcher. Then tried to tuck it inside, and that will eventually be picked up by Marcus Pettersson. 100 seconds left in regulation. We are tied at 2. Becker Mackey, both goals for Vancouver. Kapanen and Draisaitl with the goals for Edmonton. Here's Adam Henrique in on the forecheck. Baines will successfully get a clear. Bouchard kicks it back for Ekholm in the Oilers zone. Oilers left to right in this final minute 15. Here's Matt Savoy. Checked by Roenick. Got it in deep for Adam Henrique. Fierce battle ensues, and now you've got a clearing bid for Philip Hedl that's successful. Back to the red line. Bouchard missed Savoy. Hedl will tap it back to Roenick, and now the Canucks will reset as we enter the final minute of regulation. Roenick fired up the gut, spilled in by Evander Kane. Darnell Nurse on the puck. Bluger chases him off to Troy Stetcher. Right-hand side, McDavid taps it back for Stetcher, moving to his left. Then a collision before he hit the red line, and that leads to an icing call. And Stetcher's angry with himself. Banged his stick on the ice.
Got to make the simple play.
37 seconds to play in regulation. And Vancouver will get an attacking zone faceoff.
Yeah, that puck hit the post on the deflection from Bluger and then went up, hit the left post.
And just landed almost on the back of the net.
Pickard never knew where it was.
Pettersson against Draisaitl. Won the face-off. Myers smoked it wide. Rebound. Draisaitl hopped over his stick as it came off the end boards. And then Pettersson had his shot blocked. Frederick tried to create an odd man rush, and the Canucks tapped it back into the zone, but offside with 23 seconds left in regulation.
So they've gone with a big rangy defense pair here. The Dragon, you call him.
Marcus Pettersson got that nickname on the Swedish Hoops playground, which, of course, everyone comes out with a nickname when you're playing high-level basketball in Sweden. Here's McDavid.
Is that an oxymoron? High-level basketball?
Circling right-hand side. Draisaitl to Ekholm, who crushed one toward the net. But a block shot for Tyler Myers. And now with 7 seconds, Bouchard will cut off of Vander Kane. And we're heading for overtime. McDavid, 2 seconds. And at the horn, a wrist shot from Frederick is gloved by Thatcher Demko from about 55 feet. And we will play overtime with Vancouver having forged and created the need for OT on the game-tying goal. Power play marker scored by Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Shots in regulation, 27 for the Oilers, 26 for the Canucks. 11-10 in the third period in favor of Edmonton. And now the clear of the ice, and we'll be back with 3-on-3 overtime hockey to close out the NHL preseason. It's Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Did you know that there are 9 Napa Auto Parts stores serving the greater Edmonton area and have been doing so for more than 50 years? Since Napa first opened in Edmonton, the community has grown and vehicles have changed, but you can always trust Napa Auto Parts to provide you with the expert know-how and the best vehicle parts. And if that isn't enough, every time you visit a Napa Auto Parts store when you present your AMA card, you receive an additional 10% discount on all retail parts and accessories. Visit your local Napa Auto Parts store for more offers and expert know-how. Napa Auto Parts is a proud fan of the Edmonton Oilers.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
I know you're carrying the banner. 3-on-3, 5-minute overtime session. Edmonton 2, Vancouver 2. And the Oilers, as one would expect, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard, 3-on-3 overtime. Edmonton set a league record last year with 12 wins in overtime.
I would go Nugent Hopkins and Kapanen in the next pairing because of Kapanen's speed. And then I might want to look at Savoy and possibly Howard. Though you might need a center. You'll see Nurse in a second pairing, second grouping on the ice in the fence. You go Kulak or Ekholm in the third.
I think Chris Knobloch's thinking it'll be over before you have to worry about a third set.
Well,
we'll see what happens.
What is possession again? 9/10 of the law. You win the draw.
Pettersson, DeBrusk, and Roenick for Vancouver. Wow, Quinn Hughes is not on the ice to start overtime for the Canucks. They're playing the matchup game. And Vancouver wins the draw. Roenick quarterbacking for now. He'll drop it off and change to be replaced by Quinn Hughes. So that's the strategy employed by Adam Foote. Win the faceoff and then get Hughes out there. DeBrusk walks in right-hand side under duress from McDavid. Wisely sets it up for Vancouver captain Quinn Hughes. So much speculation about Hughes and his future in Vancouver. Does he want to look at Jersey and join his brothers, Jack and Luke? Here's Pettersson weaving his way into the offensive zone. Shadowed by Bouchard and Draisaitl. Shovels it out to Besser. He'll take a walk back to center.
40 seconds in. The Oilers haven't had the puck.
Well, the Canucks are playing it fairly conservative. Now, pinwheeling away from Draisaitl is Hughes. He's going to take it to the hole. And Philip Hedl. Little chip over to Besser. Now Hughes against Bouchard. Waits, hesitates, dishes off. Wrist shot. And that missed from Brock Besser. Off the plexi out to Hughes at center.
What did I say about possession? They've had the puck the entire minute plus.
And the Oilers have not made a change. Garland. Hughes at center. Nowhere really to move it except back to Garland, who then walks in, looking to attack the net. Hughes' change. Roenick onto the ice. Receives a pass left circle. Gives to Garland. Splits defense. And scores! close out the preseason. Canucks will go to 4-2, and the Oilers' preseason slate ends with a record of 4-2-2. And now Edmonton can look forward to its 46th year in the National Hockey League with a season-opening date at Rogers Place against the Calgary Flames Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
So think about what happened in this game here. You had Pedersen win a draw against Draisaitl. Leon got frustrated, created a 5-on-3. The Oilers were fortunate to survive that. Pedersen wins the opening face-off to start overtime against Draisaitl.
And you never get the puck.
Never get the puck.
Rodick to Garland for the winner. 90 seconds into OT, and as Bob mentioned, 90 seconds of possession for Vancouver. And Garland finishes it off. He came within a goal of what would have been his third 20-goal campaign last year. Finished with 50 points for a second time in his career. Was a huge favorite of Rick Tocchet, and now for Adam Foote in the preseason finale. His new coach watches Connor Garland do what he's done throughout his NHL career. I mean, Bob, we saw him take a puck in the face and find a way to win a game for the Coyotes against the Oilers at Rogers Place, and tonight his OT winner caps
the only
a preseason.
Only shot in the overtime.
Yep, and he had 2 goals in that game where he took the puck off the face. Thatcher Demko, good early, keeping Edmonton at bay. And then the Oilers broke through with 2 goals in the second period, Kapanen and Draisaitl. But when Edmonton had chances to put this one away, Bouchard hit the goal post. Yeah. At the other end, Baines hit a post for Vancouver, and the Oilers never got that third goal and end up dropping one in OT.
Yeah, and I think, when you played in the 7th and 6th games of the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years, you just want the preseason over. Let's get going.
I agree, but I will say this, Bob, and I think we should talk about this. I didn't say it on the air because, quite frankly, it's an Oilers broadcast, and you don't necessarily want to be a purveyor of doom and gloom. But I felt last year was a poor camp, and I was not the least surprised that Edmonton was absolutely blasted in its season opener against the Winnipeg Jets. I didn't feel they had a good camp. I didn't like the mood. I felt they were still in mourning, not just from the Stanley Cup loss, but from some of the departures personnel-wise. I've got a decidedly different mood about this year's camp, and I want to bring in Brett Kulak and talk about it a little bit, Brett. Brett, if you don't mind, indulge me a little bit, not really talk about tonight's game, but talk about this year's camp as compared to last year's camp. From my position, Brett, and I'm an outsider, no question about it, it feels like the mood is a little bit lighter, and there's a bit more excitement about the prospects of what the regular season may bring. Am I at all on track with that compared to last year?
Yeah, I think you're seeing the same things that we're feeling down here for sure. I think we had a good camp. Everyone's in early. Everyone's putting the work every single day and building, and we've come together as a group. We got a decent amount of new guys in the locker room, and I think those guys are mixing in and gelling well, which is important. And I think we've come a long way, and we're putting things together on the ice, and we're excited to get the regular season going.
Brett, I mentioned this yesterday with Jerry Johansson. Dom Lucian from The Athletic told me the Oilers' defense is the number 1 defense in the NHL, 1 through 6. And yes, there's McDavid and Draisaitl up front. By the way, the forward group was ranked 2nd by The Athletic. But number 1 defense, you're part of that group, and the line was the backbone of the team. I'm not sure you guys were completely healthy last year in the playoffs with the 6D. You're going to be healthy to start the year. Thought on maybe what your collective group can do from the back end to help transition pucks up the ice and defend and, play the game more in the opposition zone and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we're, it's for sure the best D-core I've been a part of, and I think they're pretty spot on with the ranking. We're pretty solid back there, and we're pretty deep, and the big challenge will be that there's lots of guys who want ice time for sure. So I think that's the big thing. But that's good too. You push each other in practice. Everyone's going to get opportunities, and it's going to be competitive to get those PK shifts and get the big shifts at big moments of the game. So it's nice. It's a privilege to play with these guys, and I learn a lot from them because we got lots of good D-men on this team.
Brett, last one from us, and it's another thought about just the greater goals, and everyone knows you're part of a veteran group who ultimately won't be satisfied with anything other than a Stanley Cup win. But on the other hand, does this team need to learn to appreciate some of the victories in the regular season and perhaps find a way to enjoy the grind a bit more than it maybe has in the past and not get solely focused on Stanley Cup or bust?
Yeah, you know what? I think, we have big goals. We demand a lot of ourselves every day, and I think that's what's led to the success we've had the past couple of years. You know, the leaders on our team, they bring everyone, they pull everyone along in practice every day. They don't take a day off. You know, we're pushing each other every day, and we want to be at the best come game time. And you know what? We got big goals for the season, and you want to enjoy it and have fun along the way. But you know, no matter what, if you're winning, you're always having a good time. So I think that's the main focus.
Brett, thanks so much for the time. Can't wait for Wednesday night.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Brett Kulak, who, of course, began his career on the other side of this Battle of Alberta rivalry. Fourth-round pick of the Calgary Flames, and he's carved out a heck of a career for himself in the National Hockey League. And he has not missed a game as an Edmonton Oiler. 362 consecutive games, including the postseason. An absolute workhorse. And on a club that's fairly durable, Kulak sticks out as a guy who's been the ultimate and the most durable.
So I'm going to give you the stat that's going to surprise most of the listeners right now. Most people see Brett Kulak as the number 5 defenseman on this team. Last year in the playoffs, he played the second most per game of all the defensemen. The only defenseman that played more than him was Evan Bouchard. And of course, Evan Bouchard plays first unit power play. So that shows you in how many different scenarios Brett Kulak was deployed. Paul Coffey used him on the right side a bit with Darnell Nurse. I think we'll see mostly left side. But what I see happening here is...
Well, you just said it. Paul Coffey was a huge advocate for Brett Kulak. And I think allowed Kulak to explore more facets of his game than perhaps he was allowed to in the first 6 or 7 years of his career.
I had a former player say to me, Brett Kulak is going to age well because of the skating ability and where it comes.
And he can move the puck.
And the one comment was the Oilers need to align their minutes with their left shot defenseman. You got Ekholm's now 35 years of age. He doesn't need to play 22 and a half minutes every night. Nurse can play 22 minutes, but Kulak is a guy who can play 18, 19, 20 minutes. He played over 20 in the regular season because of injuries, but the Oilers were short on defense last year. Now they have Jake Wallman, who played 22 minutes a game last year.
He has a lot of athletic ability,
He's got a lot of athletic ability. They're going to have a good defense. I think the one thing that maybe was a little unnerving for me in preseason is I was hoping for a little bit more scoring. You know what I mean? And you know, like Kapanen gave them a little bit, but I think you're hoping for, and hey, it's just preseason. Let's see how it translates in already.
You'd like to see, Savoy, Howard banging a few more. Mangiapane got a couple, to get going a little bit.
Maybe one more. If each of those 3 guys had one more each, you'd probably
feel better. Okay.
Just a little bit better, because I think with Howard, what's going to happen is his ears are going to perk up like a horse when he scores. He might be a guy that builds a little bit of, like he got the power play goal in Winnipeg on the rip job, right, where he hammered that one off the half wall.
The only thing I'd say about that, Bob, is I can think of previous preseasons where there was the Ty Ratty, there was the Jesse Puljujärvi. Who was the guy that got his third or fourth?
Magnus
Puljujärvi, but more recently, he played a little bit in Arizona. He came in and had a good preseason. Brandon Perlini. I don't need to see any preseason All-Stars.
I know.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
You don't want to be Brian Savage and be Mr. October. In baseball, you want to be Mr. October. In hockey,
no. You want to be there at the end of the year. And that's why Chris Knobloch has said at various points he's a little excited to see what this team is in March and April. That said, Bob,
so I'll make the prediction.
I imagine you're feeling fairly bullish.
I think this team will score more than they did last year, and part of it is because what happened in the final 14 games last year.
Yeah, provided they stay healthy. These are all caveats.
And I think they'll finish with more regular season points. There's no guarantee in the playoffs, and I'll tell you why. For 2 years, the Edmonton Oilers avoided the one team that I thought could have beat them in the West, and that was Colorado. Colorado scared me, and that was the one team And maybe I've overrated Colorado. And the funny thing is, Jack, today the athletic rankings came out and they had Edmonton finishing with the most points. When Dom Lucian does those rankings, he was one of the few guys in the Athletic 2 years in a row picked Edmonton to beat Dallas. He said based on his player ranking system that the Oilers would beat Dallas. Now, we didn't expect Stuart Skinner to outduel Jay Cottinger as decisively as he did in both series.
And that's because that was really the difference from my way of thinking.
922 and 924. And Stuart's going to play a big part of it. And so there's another guy in this story that, may play a factor for Edmonton. Because Stuart Skinner was a 914 his first year in the NHL. Okay? And that other guy is a guy you know. Peter Aubry. No disrespect to Dustin Schwartz before him, but it was the same voice for a long time. You've got a different set of eyes, a different voice, because goaltending is the great equalizer. And if the Oilers get any, they will have a very good team. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No team has gone to a Stanley Cup final for a third year in a row after losing the first two since the aforementioned 1969-1970 St. Louis Blues. That team was coached by Scotty Bowman. His son, Stan Bowman, is the architect of the 25-26 Oilers, who will take the ice for their season debut. We'll have it for you Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Cam Mood, Bob Stauffer with a call, and then they'll come right back to you with Game 2, and that'll be a matchup that we saw tonight. The Vancouver Canucks will visit Rogers Place, and that's a week from tomorrow night, a Hockey Night in Canada game, and 8 o'clock starting time, Oilers-Canucks. There's your first two games. What could you ask for more than Calgary and Vancouver to be a lid lifter on the 25-26 campaign? Cam and Bob will have both of those. It's been my privilege to bring you the preseason finale from Vancouver's Rogers Arena, where tonight the Canucks edged the Oilers by a count of 3-2. Kapanen and Draisaitl with the Edmonton goals. Lekkerimäki had a pair for Vancouver, and Connor Garland, the overtime winner, 90 seconds in. Your final score, once again, Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2. We'll talk to you on Wednesday night. Until then, for Bob Stauffer and, of course, our people back in the studio, Brendan Escott and Rob Brown, I'm Jack Michaels saying good night from Vancouver, BC. Ladies and gentlemen, the pleasure was all ours. The Rogers postgame show starts right now.
Exclusive live interviews, expert analysis, and game highlights. This is the Rogers postgame show. Once again, here's Bob Stauffer on the Oilers Radio Network.
Instead, it's given to Bouchard. His shot, sprawling save, rebound score. Draisaitl buries the rebound. Demko stopped Bouchard, but then flailed helplessly as Draisaitl buries his third goal inside of a week against Vancouver. He had 2 goals and 2 assists.
There you go. That is our highlight zone, brought to you by Century Casino. All games, all season. Century Casinos. 3 great locations. Edmonton, St. Albert, next to the Edmonton International Airport at Century Mile. Welcome to the Winter Zone. From the Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth, this is the Rogers postgame show on the Oilers Radio Network.
Athletes know that to advance your career, you've got to be part of a winning team. So, what about you? Are you working for a winning team? Well, here's your chance to do just that. Brandt is a strong and stable industry leader with career opportunities across Canada. We have hundreds of positions available right now, from parts, sales, positioning technology, heavy-duty mechanics, and more. Be a part of a winning team. Earn your stripes by joining Brandt today. Find out more at BrandtJobs.com.
Do your tires feel like hockey pucks on the road? Perhaps it's time for a new set of Atturo tires. No matter what you drive, Atturo has the right fit for you, including the all-new Trailblade HT and AZ810, premium all-weather tires for your pickup, car, SUV, or crossover. You can rest assured that Atturo tires will get you through all 4 seasons. Available at Action Car and Truck, Point S, and tire shops everywhere. Find a dealer near you at atturo.com.
This is the Rogers postgame show on the Oilers Radio Network.
Edmonton headed up 2-1 after 2. They couldn't get the insurance goal of the game. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance goal of the game. Health, dental, travel. We got the coverage you need. Visit av.bluecross.ca. Smart play of the game brought to you by Catelli Smart Pasta with all natural ingredients. It's the smart move for your next meal. Look for the all natural ingredients flag on the box the next time you shop. We bring aboard our inside the game analyst, Rob Brown. Rob, who'd you like tonight?
Quinn Hughes. He was pretty good for the Vancouver Canucks. On the Oilers, I mean, Connor and Leon look dangerous when they're out there. I thought Mangiapane, when he got his shift or two with Connor and Leon, I thought that line looked more dangerous. And I think that's something that we will see at some point at the beginning of the season. I thought he had a little bit more jump and created some great scoring chances when he played with them. I thought the Oilers, it looked like a game. Both teams, there was effort, there was execution, but it lacked a little emotion. And I think both teams wanted to get through this one and get on to the first game of the regular season.
Rob, great stuff. We got a jet. This is the Rogers postgame show on the Oilers Radio Network.
When was the last time your electricity and natural gas provider made you feel like this? Low rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back with Encore by Epcor. Find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Do you have tickets to an upcoming event at Rogers Place that you can't attend? Donate your tickets to the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation Seats for Kids program, presented by Eagle Builders. Seats for Kids provides unused game tickets for charities, allowing children and families to enjoy hockey at Rogers Place. And for many, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. To be a part of the Seats for Kids program presented by Eagle Builders, please email edmonton@kidsupfront.com. That's edmonton@kidsupfront.com. You're tuned in to the Rogers postgame show on the official voice of the Edmonton Oilers, 880 CHAD, and on the Oilers Radio Network.
Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oil Kings ranked number 5 in Major Junior Hockey. 5-1 victory tonight in Moose Jaw. Moose Jaw went in that game undefeated. Oil Kings are now 4-1 in the season. They play Brandon tomorrow. I'm not going to give you the rest of the preseason games. What matters is the Oilers lost 3-2 in a shootout. They're 4-2-2 in the preseason. We play for real on Wednesday. This is the Rogers postgame show on the Oilers Radio Network.
Real Canadian Superstore has more ways to save than any other major grocer. Check out their weekly flyer for PC Optimum offers, deals on club size, no name, and always low-priced everyday items. Visit in-store to find everything from fashion and home decor to toys and electronics. And don't forget their new Fresh Promise on produce. If your produce isn't fresh, they'll replace it and refund it. There are so many ways to save at Real Canadian Superstore. See their flyer for details.
At Northern Lakes College, students work, raise their family, and complete their certificate, diploma, or partnership degree. With NLC's supported distance learning model, you can do it all in a flexible online classroom. Explore a variety of programs from academic upgrading to university studies, including a wide range of programming available through continuing education. Skate into your new career in a learning environment that works for you. NorthernLakesCollege.ca. Learn where you live.
3 stars brought to you by Molson, the official beer of the Edmonton Oilers. Whether it's Canadian Ultra Sport XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. You must be of legal drinking age. Dr. Demko was solid for Vancouver. Tonight's 3rd star, 25 saves. Leon Draisaitl, a goal for the Edmonton Oilers. He's tonight's 2nd star. Connor Garland with the GWGNOT. He is tonight's 1st star. The Rogers postgame show is heard following each of our NHL broadcasts. The Oilers play for real starting Wednesday against Calgary. For my play-by-play partners, Jack Michaels, who called tonight's game, Cam Moon, who's got the call on Wednesday, Rob Brown, Brendan Escott, studio producers, Kellen Kennedy and Eamon Hashem, Kellum at the helm tonight, and our engineers here in Vancouver, Miles Bruce and Tyler Green. Bob Stauffer saying so long from Rogers Place. The Oilers finished the preseason 4-2-2. Let's get her going Wednesday night against the Flames.
The Rogers postgame show is heard following each of our NHL